Hello, everyone. Welcome to Conversations with Curtis. My name is Paul Morgan Stetler. I'm the host of this channel, and you may recognize me from such video games as Phantasmagoria 2, A Puzzle of Flesh, and that's it. That's the only video game I ever did, so that's all I got. It is great to see you. Thanks for joining us today. I'm super excited about today's conversation. As you can see, I'm on the high seas right here, and there's a reason for that. My partner Daniel has introduced me to point and click video games for the first time, and the one that is we're having the most fun with, of course, is the Monkey Island series. I had never played them before, I had never heard of them before, and now we have gotten through Secret of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge, and now we got started on Curse. And for me, as charming and as fun and as whimsical as these games are, and I just adore them, and I can see why they've lasted the test of time. But for me, as an actor, I really gravitate towards other actors, and just the voice work in this series is just tremendous all the way down the line. And as we've gotten into different games, of course, Guybrush is the one that's keeping us together. It's the thread that holds it all together. And so the more I hear this guy, the more I would think I really would love to talk with him. So we reached out, and Dominic Armato was kind enough to say yes, and he's going to be joining us today. So I'm going to have him come out in just a couple minutes because we only have so much time with him. So before I do bring him out, couple quick things. We do have a coffee goal today, so if you guys could help contribute to that and help keep these conversations with awesome artists and engineers and developers going, that would be super helpful. During the interview, we will turn the text-to-speech widgets off because I want to just be respectful of Dominic's time, but you'll get a little thank you widget will pop up thanking you for your donation. When we get a little later into the interview, when we start doing live Q&A, we'll turn the text-to-speech widgets on and just have a little more fun with it. But the way it's going to work right now is I'll bring Dominic out. He and I will chat for about 45, 50 minutes, just kind of get to know each other a little bit. And then I've got questions from our Patreon members, and I will ask those. And that'll be followed up by some questions that were posted on our Discord channel. And then if we have some time, we will do some live Q&A with you dudes. So I think now's the time to get started. Let's do it. It's great to see you all. I see a lot of recognizable names and some new folks, so thanks for joining. And let's get started. All right, I've pulled up the Wikipedia page, so let me do my little intro. Dominic Armato is an American voice actor, journalist, and food critic. He is best known for his work on the LucasArts games, and his most famous role is the voice of the mighty pirate himself, Guybrush Threepwood, in the Monkey Island series. Please, everyone, big welcome to Dominic Armato. What's up, Dominic?
Hello, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Oh, good. I love that our competing backgrounds. I mean, this is probably one of the most obscure meets of all time. Guybrush and Curtis Craig could not be from more different backgrounds.
I like it. I know, right? We got the old school adventure crew going on here.
Exactly. So I have to start with the most important question, and this is really going to dictate how the rest of the interview is going to go.
Sure.
Have you ever played Phantasmagoria 2?
I haven't played Phantasmagoria. No.
Oh, my credibility is completely shot. So I'm just a regular dude then. I don't have any. I have no credibility with you.
Sorry. You seem like a nice guy. Don't get me wrong, but but the whole fame thing is lost on me, unfortunately. So.
Oh, bummer. Yeah, my fame is this big. Yeah. So.
It's what? It's not a bad thing. I mean, because that was. I mean, it's been going now for so long, Monkey Island, but for a long time, that was it. It was sort of like this narrow little niche.
Absolutely.
It's like people would ask about Monkey Island fandom, and I was like, well, it's a very narrow but very devoted sliver of the community out there. Although it seems to be larger than I remember. Maybe it's just because nowadays you actually get to hear from everybody. So
yeah, I would imagine that's the case, is that as the years have gone on, and of course now especially because of the new game, which
Yeah.
has gotten so much attention. But prior to that, uh, did you see a great deal of growth and people reaching out to you and all that? I mean, as sort of the internet continued to expand and live
Yeah,
stream gaming
definitely.
and all that.
I mean, there was a little bit early on, maybe, like after I did Curse, which was the first one that I worked on, and we went back and did the special editions later. But I get emails here and there, but that's a higher barrier for someone than, liking something or just responding to something on social. And I kind of started to get a little bit of a sense, when we did the remakes. I remember that we did it was fairly early on for Twitter, I think, when we were recording. I think it was the special edition for Secret, the first one, and I remember Craig Derrick, who was the producer on that, put together a tweet up, and I believe that was in fact the first time I had ever heard the term tweet up. Again, very very early days of
Right,
Twitter.
right.
Yeah, he put together a tweet up by the Yoda statue on the LucasArts campus there, and I think maybe three people showed up or four. But people actually came. There were
Yeah.
people who saw Craig Derrick tweeting about Monkey Island and said, "Hey, we're recording and come out and hang out with Dominic."
Oh,
So there
fun.
were people who showed up, but still, even that was not like now. I mean, I wondered, obviously, over the past 10, 12 years, it occurred to me that if it ever did come back, it's like, I wonder what would it be like nowadays, since everything's just so connected and so quick. I was really curious to see what it would be like to do another Monkey Island game, like in the big, really in the social media area, not just when it was, still kind of nascent
Yeah,
and
you got that chance to do
OG.
that.
Yeah, we
That's
did, which
super
was
exciting.
which was fun.
Well, we'll get let's get to
Oh, wait,
that,
I'm
but
jumping way ahead.
let's
Yeah.
go backwards a little bit. So
Okay. All right.
I think so many people, this game, anybody who's watching, this game has such a place in their heart from they were kids when they played it, um, and and then anybody, and then kids, at this point, their kids are playing it, so
Yeah.
it's finding, it just continues to move on. So let's talk a little bit about, I just want to know where are you from? Where'd you grow up?
Chicago. I'm a Chicago kid, or my wife and son like to tease me about the fact that I technically was not born in Chicago, but the hospital I was born in was literally across the street. The street was the line, but they do like to give me a hard time about that. Like, you're not from Chicago. It's like,
What's the line? What's the name of the
Melrose Park. My mother worked at a hospital in Melrose Park that my folks lived in the city, but my mother's workplace was the hospital was right across the street
You were
where I was.
born in Melrose Park, but was the
Yeah,
house that you lived in Chicago?
in Chicago. Yeah, exactly. I feel like this is.
Yeah,
I feel like
that's
they're being real ticky tack
a
about
little
this.
bit.
They just like to taunt me because my son was born within the city limits. So
Yeah. I live
Although,
in
although, although he had a T-shirt at once, so we got into this argument. And he points this T-shirt and says, "Who's wearing the Chicago T-shirt with the Sears Tower on it?" I said, "Dude, that's the Hancock Tower." And he was like, "Oh."
Chalk one up for you. You won that one.
Exactly. I was like, "I got you." Then,
Yeah, I live in Seattle, and I've been here for for since the 90s,
yeah.
and since since I had kids, we moved out just a little. We're in a little town, a little, I don't know, I guess it's another city called Shoreline,
Okay.
which is, we're 2 blocks away from Seattle. Same thing. So like, no one knows Shoreline. It just sounds like a suburb, which it is, but it's just, we're 2 blocks away from the cool naming city. So
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
I feel your pain. So
Well,
yeah,
the
well,
Chicagoans love to make fun of the ex-urbanites who call themselves Chicagoans. But I came home when I came home from the hospital. It was to an apartment in Chicago, so I'm claiming it.
okay, got it. So what was life like? Did you grow up in an apartment? Was it were you right in the
For a few
city?
years. We
What
were
was
there for
your
a little. No, we were there for a little while, and then we moved out into the near burbs when I was like, grammar school age, and that's mostly where I grew up. And I went to high school out in Aurora and did junior high downtown, and then went to college for a couple of years at DePaul. So, in and out of the city.
Yeah. What were you like as a
So,
kid? What were you like in those early grammar school days?
oh, gee, I was probably a pain in the butt, I think. No, no, I ran around a lot. I was one of, we were kids of our age, just running around the neighborhood and exploring and, biking everywhere and kind of having full independence by the time I was 7 or 8. and playing computer games whenever I could. Which, I mean, I was a gamer. I mean, I understand that you were not so much of a gamer growing up. I was a gaming kid,
Yeah,
hardcore. Yeah, and junior high was when I got my Nintendo, and that
that
was
was.
where it got ugly. Yeah. So
So what was the uh yeah, it's funny talking about those early days. I hate I hate that I'm at the age where we're the it's in my day generation, um that it was better back then or anything like that, but just
oh
watching
no.
the difference between thinking about my childhood, same thing that listening to you talk about, just being able to get out and you're on the bike, you're just out all day, you've been called into dinner, that kind of thing. And they compared
Yeah.
to the kids, our kids are just, it's not, it's different. They're not as
Yeah.
much. It's there's a lot more. Uh, I don't know. It just isn't as free, I guess, as it used to
Yeah.
be.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it as a back in my day kind of way. Just, it's a different experience. I mean, they definitely have a different experience, and
Yeah.
I don't, I'm sure some of it's better and some of it's worse.
Oh,
So,
I'm saying I'm the back in
it's
my
like,
day guy. You'll get there in a little bit, but
okay, all right,
I'm the,
fair enough.
yeah. No. So yeah. So you said you got into video games in junior high.
Oh yeah.
What was the game that hooked you?
I mean, the early Nintendo games are the ones that really got me. I mean, I did a little bit earlier than that. I had a good friend, my best buddy, when I was like in fourth grade, and he had an Apple, and I'd go over there and we'd play like Ultima 3 was a big one early on. He had some multiplayer game that was based on the PC called Oil Barons, where you'd like have to search for and dig your wells, and there was a board and the computer and the whole thing. So I mean, I was into it a little bit, but like, the Nintendo was the first system I got that was mine. That one was all mine, and I saved up the allowance for it and bought my Nintendo, and promptly spent basically as much time as I could get away with on that thing. In fact, it was the bane of my existence. I was pretty good at it too, because I remember when Legend of Zelda first came out, they had a thing in one of the early issues of Nintendo Power magazine where when you finished Zelda, you were supposed to, this is how old school this is, you were supposed to take a photograph of yourself standing next to the television with the screen at the end to show
What?
that you completed it. I'm not making this up. And then you mail the photograph into them to demonstrate that you had completed the game. And they said that whoever was the first person to finish Legend of Zelda would get a feature in Nintendo Power magazine. So I played through the game and I finished it. And of course, I just assumed, well, I'm sure, thousands of kids have finished this already. And then a couple months later, the issue comes out, and they showed the kid who was supposedly the first one to finish Zelda. And I was like, I finished it like 3 days before him. I should have sent this in. That could have been me.
It
That
could
could
have
have
been
been me on
you,
Nintendo
yeah.
Power Magazine. I
Oh,
could have been
you're,
immortalized in like issue
yeah.
67 of Nintendo Power Magazine. I missed my opportunity.
Your fame could be so much bigger than it is right
I
now had
know. I
you
mean,
only.
Guybrush is like, whatever. Dude, Nintendo Power Magazine. Come on.
That's great. And so, were you into other things? Did you have brothers and sisters? Were you
Yeah,
what the?
I had a little sister who, not so much of a gamer, more of she's a movie buff. She ended up going to ASU Film actually, and did that for a while, and now is I think she's a drone at Google these days. So, so she ended up falling out of that. But yeah, we grew up kind of artsy gaming, pop culture, media kind of kids.
What were your parents like? Were they also artistically minded in any way, or?
Not so much. I mean, my mom not really so much at all, and my father more so like the classics. He more than anything, he was a real opera buff.
Oh wow,
Loved opera, a lot of classical music, and film. A big film geek too.
yeah.
So I grew up with a lot of music, a lot of film, but certainly and a good amount of visual art as well. His mother, my grandmother, was a painter, very fairly accomplished painter, and there was always, his family was very steeped in the arts. So he came from a lot of that, and I think probably a lot of my appreciation came through him. But certainly nothing from the performance end of the spectrum. That
Did
was
any
never
of
that was
the?
that was that came just from me. That was just what I wanted to
Yeah,
do.
I want to hear about that in a second. Did any of the did any of that classical music appreciation get its hooks on you?
A little bit. I mean, I played violin when I was really young, and I played the piano for a while. I enjoyed it. I still do enjoy. Well, this is where I get embarrassed because I ended up falling into the Guitar Freaks Guitar Hero Rock Band thing, and if I'd spent the number of hours I've spent on those games actually learning to play guitar, I'd probably be pretty good right now. But
Isn't that
what are you
hilarious?
gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna
Well,
do?
what
Yeah,
are
I
you gonna
fell
do?
into that. It's like a shortcut. It's like you can feel like you're awesome at playing the guitar, but you don't actually have to learn. So it works out great.
But you end up putting all these hours into learning the whatever the algorithm is of the
Oh,
game, right? And
so much. Yeah, I mean, I
then
was on board. I was big into that. The guitar games before Guitar Hero. This is going back to Guitar Freaks in Japan. It was one of the old school Bimani games. The Beatmania guys, and they had it was a 3-button guitar simulator that was called Guitar Freaks, and I think like a couple cabinets showed up in the U.S., but it was mostly just in Japan. And at the time I was traveling there occasionally with my dad for his work. So I ended up like bringing back Japanese PlayStations and importing the guitars, and I'm like going through customs and they're unzipping the bag and looking at like they're like with those little purple and white guitar. It's like, what is this? I'm like, don't it's not, don't ask. It's embarrassing.
I
So
love it. You really you're not kidding when you say you were into this.
oh
You're
no,
a
no, I'm not joking. No, and it
full
was
on
funny because like
gamer.
oh yeah, and they'd all make fun of me too. Like all my friends would make fun of me because I had I play the guitar and they're like, this is the stupidest thing ever. And then like 3 years later, Guitar Hero comes out and it blows up. I'm like, I told you, I was so far ahead of the curve in this, and none of you would listen to me.
Yeah. Again,
So
you're like these stories are you just being just a little bit ahead, but no one
I
realizing.
know,
Yeah.
just a little bit, not enough to capitalize, but just enough to be frustrated about it.
So
So
what
good.
got your what was your first taste of the acting bug? Was it drama at school, or what was it that made you
You know,
interested in that? And
I don't even remember. I mean, I was so young that I don't even remember why. I just remember that I wanted, I was interested. I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to, I thought it'd be fun to go up on stage and or be in television commercials or movies or whatever. I mean, it was just something that interested me, and my folks were kind enough to humor that I believe I think the very first thing I did was it was some little community theater production of Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. And this is the funniest thing because for years I had it on my resume as I'm down on the resume as Little Chap's son. But of course, anyone who's familiar with the musical knows that Little Chap never has a son, because all I would do is I think there were 2 points in the musical where like a curtain would open and I'm this little kid in this little white costume, and I'd be born as this little kid and then didn't make it and I die, and Little Chap never has a son. So it's like this happens twice throughout the show, and that was it. That was my performance debut.
and did you
But
do theater, or was it? Did you immediately
a
you lived?
little bit, yeah, but even more than that, though, the thing that really did it was right after that. Is again, my dad was the opera buff, and I was into singing. I enjoyed singing, so I tried out and got in for the Lyric Opera Children's Chorus. So I was in the
Oh,
children's chorus in Chicago for I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And that was the big thing, and then that kind of everything else kind of flowed from there. A little
right.
theater, and I started, auditioning. I got, I got an agent and started going out for television and commercials and all
How
that
old
kind of
were
stuff.
you at that point?
I think I was probably 7. I want to say.
Really, you were getting
Yeah.
you're a kid actor, so you were
Oh no,
going out
that's why I
doing
said
yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
don't remember. I mean,
yeah.
when I first got started, I want to say I was 6. I think when I got my agent, I was 7. I think.
Doing like local commercials and all the stuff
Yeah, not so
and
much. I never booked a lot on camera. I mean, I know I did a few things over the years, but on camera was always a little elusive for me. But that was how that sort of indirectly, is what turned into the voiceover. That was what I kind of fell into because of course this was. I mean, I know a lot of people don't realize, but this was at a time where nobody had any idea what voiceover was.
yeah.
I mean, that was yeah, as back in the day, you'd say you did voiceover and people be like, what's voiceover, and then you'd explain it, and of course they'd be like, oh yeah, I guess there has to be somebody to do that, right? It didn't even occur to most people that there were people who did that for a job. But the agency,
And also you think about voiceover, the first thing you think about is the booming,
yeah, of
gorgeous
course,
voice, and so you don't think that when you
yeah,
listen to the radio, there's always these much more sort of the normal guy on the
yep,
street or whatever, probably the kid. Did you do voiceovers as a
yeah.
kid? Were you
Oh
doing?
yeah, oh big time. I did a lot more back then than I do now. Or even as an adult, I worked like crazy as a kid. that paid for college. That was I
Holy cow!
yeah.
Tell me
I
some of the
yeah.
gigs that you got. Like, what were the things that?
The
Yeah,
So the very I can tell you the very first one I got. I remember I did. It was I mean it's Chicago, so it's mostly commercial,
yeah.
almost exclusively commercial. All the ad agencies, but I remember. So I
Radio
had
or TV, just
both
voiceover
radio
for.
and TV, both.
Okay, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of national. So the agency that I had, I was trying to do on camera, and they had, it was mostly like a modeling and television agency, and then they had one woman, Sharon Wotrich, who was like my surrogate mom, and she had like one little office in the corner of the agency, and she was their voiceover division, you know, and she just kind of weird, I'd gotten to know her from being around, and she said, "You want to try some voiceover?" I'm like, "Okay,"
Oh
and they
wow,
sent me off. They sent me off for an audition for it was a television commercial for Cherry Switzer, which was another like kind of Twizzlers-esque, a
yeah.
red licorice thing, and I got the first thing they sent me out for,
And is it
and
just a kid saying, "Gee, I love these cherry Swiss"? Like that, is it just
it
kind of
was
a
the
simple
announcer
little?
half. Well, what it was like an announcer thing. So there was a jingle. I didn't do the jingle. I mean, I did some jingles, but not for this commercial. But there was a jingle with a kid singing about how all this stuff like he'd trade for, all the stuff he'd trade away, but he would never swap his Switzer. I never swap my Switzer. And then I came in as the announcer, and then there's the product shot, and it's like,
That's
cherry
great.
Switzer, with cherry juice. It's so chewy, juicy, and delicious that boom, back to the jingle kid. You'll never swap your Switzer. So
So you got, yeah, you
that
got
was
into that little. That's a really, especially back then. I mean, I think nowadays because everybody can have their own studio and there's so many. But back then, that was a really small
lucky.
club, right?
Yeah, it was
As you said,
very
no
tight. I
one
mean, at
knew
that
about
point,
it, and so to be in
no,
that in that clique, that must have been pretty cool. And like you said, it ended
in
up.
those days, like in the Chicago community, at least for Chicago voiceover, I remember it being there were maybe like 30 adults who did 90% of the work. And for the kids, I only ever saw maybe three other kids. Anyone who needed a kid voice, there were like four of us who did everything. And
Wow,
which
wow,
was great for me. It was
yeah.
fantastic. I worked like crazy back in those days. And I mean, I did every single Captain Crunch commercial for about 5 years that was on television, all the Saturday morning Captain Crunch commercials, all
Oh
the
man,
random. Yeah. It
I
was a very, very sad day in the Armato household when some ad executive decided that they wanted to go to live action.
oh.
The end of a good run.
Yeah. And then as things progressed, as you get into high school and college and such, are you just continuing on the whole time, or is it shifting, or is your interest getting into other places?
No,
Or
just pretty much the same thing. I mean, I went to a nerd school out in Aurora, Illinois, the Illinois Mathematics and Science Academy, and it was like one of those, like super accelerated. I used to joke with kids that it was kind of like the real genius, the Hollywood version. It was the real school version of like real genius basically.
yeah, I
And
love that.
so like, oh, should I be a physicist or I kind of got into particle physics a little bit. That'd be cool to do, and but I was still doing the voiceover the whole time. And then I kind of towards the end I was like, I just want to do the voiceover. So that was my plan. So I said, well, I'm going to stick in Chicago. I got a good thing going here. So I applied to all the local colleges, just got into DePaul, got into my safety school and went to DePaul for a couple of years, was doing the voiceover and wasn't really happy about, I mean, I was having fun in college, but I wasn't really learning anything. So I was like, screw this. I'll just go out to California and
So
might as
you,
well do it now.
oh, okay. So when did you move there?
That was 95. So I did 2 years of college at DePaul and I just had no idea
So what are you
what
like
I, I knew I
19,
wanted to do
20
I
or
knew I
so when
wanted
you
to do
move
the
out there?
voiceover. So it's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to keep, spending money on this to, I don't need a degree to do voiceover. So it's like, I'd be better off just getting out to LA now. And I was really, at the time, I was super interested in doing the character work, right? Because, when I was a kid, I wanted to, I mean, the announcer stuff is fun. I enjoy that. But, as a kid, I wanted to act. I wanted to do characters, right? So I was always really interested in doing the character voiceover. But again, this is at a time when you weren't patching people in from all over the country. I mean, it really was you had to be in LA if you wanted
Yeah.
to do
Well,
LA and maybe a little bit in San Francisco,
yeah.
and like that was pretty much it. That was it for character work. So it's like if I want to keep doing commercials, I can keep working here.
Right.
And
Right.
I had a really good audition at one point. It was a Disney casting director who came through for some other thing, and I don't remember how it was that I ended up meeting up with her. I think maybe some agent put us together and said, "Hey, like I just like you two to meet," and we just kind of sat and talked for a while. And I read some stuff for her, and this was sort of early in in the Disney animation renaissance. So this was like, this was like Little Mermaid, Aladdin,
Yeah,
when
yeah, yeah.
I think it was, I want to say, I might be getting the timing wrong, but I think it was like right before Lion King, when all of a sudden it went to, okay, now the entire cast is going to be celebrity. It was at a point in time when if you were a skilled but not really well-known actor, you still could have a realistic dream of being in a Disney animated film.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Which
Because exactly, they weren't. They had their 1 or 2 stars, but then they could populate with
exactly
all the
the rest of
other
the, yeah,
folks.
it was
Yeah,
like it was
yeah,
people who were probably known in their communities or in their city, but
yeah.
they weren't like national names or
Right.
anything.
Well, let me back up
Now,
a little bit. How old were
sorry, go
you
ahead.
when you moved to? How old were you when you moved to LA?
I was 18.
18. So not even
Yeah,
just a year or so into college, and you're like, I'm done. Let's do this. So did you move out there by
yeah.
yourself? Did you move out with
I
your family?
did. Yeah, yeah. I moved out at 18. Yeah, I went to college at 16, did 2 years, then I moved out to LA at 18, and just
So how did
like
you get set up? I
snowboard.
imagine you probably had connections through your stuff in Chicago. You probably got an agent pretty quickly
Yeah,
through.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, my agent in Chicago, had, they send people back and forth. It happens,
Yeah.
so they
So how do
kind
you
of
get?
set
Do
me
you,
up.
you move out there as an 18-year-old? How do you get yourself set up in a place? Do you get roommates, or you live? Where are you living at
No,
first?
I lived. I was in Burbank. I lived in Burbank for 5 years. It was a little. It was like right. I would be exaggerating to say in the shadow of the Warner Brothers Tower, but not that much.
Yeah.
It was pretty close. I was just a few blocks away from Warner Brothers, right in Toluca Lake.
Look at
And
you, man.
no,
Do you look back at that and think I was 18 and I just went off and did this thing
oh,
on
and
my
it was
own?
such a. I was so well. I mean, yes and no. Professionally, it was super cool. Personally, oh man, what a waste! I was so lonely. I had like no friends. I didn't know anybody. I just sat around and did nothing. I went to my audition every day, and like that was it. It's like if I knew then what I knew now, oh man, some wasted years personally. But professionally, it was great.
Yeah, yeah.
No, my folks came out. They helped me get set up, found an apartment. I got a car, and then that was kind of the life. Every day, kind of stumble out of bed at some point and get the call from the agent. Hey, come on down. I got a couple of things for you to read today, and I drive down to Beverly Hills to my agent and get in the booth and read 2 or 3 things, and then go back.
So that this kind of gets us right to Monkey Island. So tell us now, what was your experience? Had you played all the games in advance? Were those games
I
that you
had,
knew?
yeah,
Yeah.
I was already. So this was funny, and this is so I was already, because I was a gamer. I was already a big fan of Monkey Island. I had actually gotten to Monkey Island. There were some. My route was a little funny because we had some friends of the family who knew I was into video games, and at that point, I had some dumb PC clone, IBM PC clone, or something like that, and so they got me a copy of Loom, which is one of the
Which I
early
just played a couple I played that a couple of
which I need to go
months
back
ago.
and play because I don't really remember.
Oh,
But they got that for
it's
me.
wonderful.
So I played that. Some friends of my parents, they gave it to me like for Christmas or my birthday. I don't remember. So I played that and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And it's like, okay, LucasArts. Well, maybe I'll like their other games. And then when I was in high school, I got a Sega CD for Christmas. Got my wish, Sega CD. And Secret Monkey Island for Sega CD was one of the games that was available. One of the earlier
Did it
games for
come
Sega
with the
CD.
game, or it was the first thing that was?
No, it didn't come with,
Okay.
but I saw that it was available, and it's like, oh, this is another LucasArts game. Well, I'll try this. I like their other LucasArts game, and I got Secret of Monkey Island, and that was just like the greatest thing in the world. Like, this is fantastic, and I loved it. And I went back to play it just at PAX this past fall, and it's like, oh my God, how did I even get through these loading times? That was like the worst version. I started with the worst possible version of the Secret of Monkey Island.
But the
Then I
patience we
played it
had
through.
back then, it's
Oh
just the load.
man,
You just sit there and watch the spinning wheel because
oh,
whatever, right?
especially the Sega CD version, notoriously the Sega CD version. But in any case, so I played that and just totally loved it. And I think at that point, LeChuck's Revenge had already come out.
Okay.
So then I like immediately dove in, played LeChuck's Revenge. And I don't know if I fully got my timing right here, but that's basically, and then of course I learned, oh, well, that's it. I'm like, and I start reading about it, and I learned that Ron Gilbert's left the company, and that's it. I'm like, oh, well, okay, I guess we're gonna have to live with this ending. So I'm living out in Los Angeles, and I don't know, maybe I'd been there for about a year
I want
or
to
so.
stop you real quick. So tell me,
Okay.
when you were playing early on, how good were you? Because like now that I'm playing these games, some of these puzzles they're very
I got
frustrating.
through
And
them.
were you able to get through them all? Did you have to? Because back then
I don't
there was no
remember.
cheat sheets. I mean, I guess you had to.
No, there were no cheat sheets. I mean, I know they had the help desk, Yoda's helpline, whatever it
Right,
was, but
right.
I don't think I ever called it though.
So you got
I
you got
think
the
I got through
skill.
it on my own.
You have
Yeah, yeah.
the gamer brain. You
I
know
got the
you
monkey. I got the monkey wrench on my
and you
own.
can figure out the. I mean, there's all that moon logic too, which like none of it makes any sense, but you somehow
No,
just keep going, clicking everything on everything, and eventually you get there.
I mean, it's one of those things where I think to myself, I don't know how I did, but I must have, because I didn't have any other options.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
didn't know anybody else who was playing it.
yeah.
I wasn't pulling down, it wasn't pulling down walkthroughs online at that point. I mean, I
Exactly.
was online in high school, but I don't remember that stuff being out
I
there.
don't think it was. Okay, anyways, back to now you're in LA, and we find out.
So
Yeah,
I was in LA and I'd been out there for about a year, and yeah, doing okay, getting a good start, doing a little work here and there, nothing, a couple of big, I'd been excited. I got like a little, I got a couple of little guest roles. Like I got one in an episode of Real Monsters, Klasky Chupo, and actually it was funny because my co-guest star for that one was Mayim Bialik, which was bizarre at that point in time because that was in between Blossom and Big Bang Theory. Um, so that was a little weird. But so I got a couple of things like, okay, things are going well, they're getting started. And then I was on the phone with a friend of mine, just calling back home, chatting with some old friends, and he asks me, he says, okay, so like, what would your dream voiceover job be? He says, I know you've been working on this. I was like, okay, well, all right. Well, first of all, that depends on if we're talking about like film, television, or video games, right? I'm like, if it's film, I mean, kind of what I came out here for. It'd be so cool to do a Disney animated film. I
yeah,
really
yeah.
want to do that. And I said, if we're talking television, I mean, guest spot on The Simpsons, right? I mean, what would be cooler than that to do a guest spot on The Simpsons? And I'm like, and if we're talking about video games, I mean, I would love to do the voice of Guybrush Threepwood
No
in
way.
the Monkey Island series. I'm like, but that's dead and gone. Ron's left the company and they haven't made one of those in years, so that's never going to happen.
So when you're playing the game, I want to, when you played the game originally, because I've only ever played it with the voices. So I mean, I've never
Yeah.
had the experience that you all had, originally. Was it super clear to you? Did you have fun with all the voices? I mean, we are Guybrush, right? So we're as the
Right.
gamers, that's us. So of course we all are gonna relate to him. But for you to say that to him, clearly you had
Oh yeah.
a connection to that character early on. So what was it about playing that game without voices, without sound, and sort of hearing that in your head that made you feel that way?
I mean, I don't know if it was I don't know if it's because it was a good match or just because he's written in such that way, but he's so easy to relate to and to connect to. I mean, that's part of Guybrush's charm, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there are times where I wonder. I mean, obviously, selfishly, I'm very happy about it, but there are times where I wonder. Is it a disservice to give this guy a voice? Would I have connected with him in the same way if he'd had somebody else's voice back at the time? I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I don't know.
knowing only the voice, what I love about it, you nail it, but it's a combination of how well it's written and how well you interpret it. But I can't imagine what you guys watched. I can't imagine it without the
Yeah.
voice. I love how he's your he's your sort of,
Oh yeah.
but he's so snarky, he's so full of
Yeah.
himself, he's so he gets into all this, he does things he shouldn't be doing. There's so much great, he's not just your typical young hero. He
Yeah.
is, but then he isn't, and that's what I really love
Yeah.
about. I think it's what
And
everybody
I
loves
think that
about
was
it. Yeah,
I feel like that was less common at the time too.
yeah,
I feel like Guybrush was ahead of the curve,
yeah.
in terms of that sort of thing. And that he was like you say, he was a little goofy and he wasn't the average, big eyes, I want to be a hero, father, that kind of thing.
No, he's
So,
convinced that he is that. He's going to be
oh
that.
yeah,
He already
no, he
is.
is.
Yeah.
And every once in a while he's reminded that maybe he's not as awesome as he thinks he is. And it's he's he is the hero with charming flaws.
Yeah, exactly. So you're in LA. You tell your buddy this. There's no way it's going to happen. How
I really
much?
told that. I told him exactly that. I said that would be my dream job for video games. That it's never going to happen though because the series is long dead. It's never coming back. And then about a month, maybe 2 months later, it wasn't long thereafter. I did my usual shtick, it's day to go read in the studio. So I'd hop in the car and I'd drive like half an hour down to Beverly Hills and I'd go into the entrance in my agent's office, and pick up my copy, whatever it is, the 2 or 3 things I was going to read that day, and I start flipping through it, and I see Guybrush Threepwood. I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, and I just like, I'm sure I was like out loud doing exactly that. I was so like, and the receptionist is giving me
That's
this look. What's
amazing.
what's going on? Yeah, and I lost my mind. I completely lost my mind, and it was funny too, because like the first thing, like my first thing, like the first thought was like, I got to get this, and then my next thought was, I'm getting this. I'm getting this role. I'm getting this role. And I start like walking around the office. I'm like, I will be Guybrush Threepwood. I will be Guybrush Threepwood.
And you had auditioned that day. You couldn't go home and work on it. You had
No, no, and this is the thing.
you're putting it down that
So
day.
so the first thing is like, is just the shock of it, and then this is it. This is my chance, right? And then there's oh crap, what am I going to do with this now? Because the way this would work is you get your copy. It wasn't like they're sending sides with me home a day or two ahead of time. It's like you get your copy, and somebody else is in the booth right now. It's like, whenever that person is done, guess whose turn it is to go record. And it's like, oh, I gotta
Yeah.
so I'm walking around the office, and I'm freaking out, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I've got like 5, maybe 10 minutes if I'm lucky to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And
How old are
it's
you at this point? You're 20? What are you, 19?
no, I was 19. I was
Oh
19 when
my
I got
God,
cast.
man.
I
That's
actually I turned
crazy.
20 right before we started
Oh
recording.
my God. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
And so I'm like losing it, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with this now? It's like, now I have this chance. I can't blow this. I got to get this thing. And as crazy as it sounds, like I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I never thought about like voices for Guybrush Threepwood. This was never something that I thought about in my head playing the games, because it was dead. I wasn't
But it's also, it was you.
working with
You're
it.
Guybrush, right?
Well,
Because
that
we
was it.
all are
That was what
Guybrush,
I
right?
finally decided. Like 5 minutes in, I'm like kind of putzing around with some voices. I'm like, you know what? For all these years, I've been playing these games over and over again, and I've just kind of made him me, and I know this character, and sort of the Guybrushing version of me. It's like those aspects of my personality that match up and just kind
Just,
of
yeah, you
connect
just
up so
started like
well.
taking
Yeah,
a
just tweak
little
them.
bit higher, right? It's
Yeah,
like
you just
you with
gotta
a
tweak
little bit
them.
more, right?
Yeah, and I thought, well, I mean, I always enjoyed it, and it always kind of worked that way for me, so maybe it'll work that way for everybody else. And certainly I'm comfortable with it like that, so I know I can give a good read like that. So I thought, let's give it a shot. So I pretty much just did it. I mean, as you can hear, I pretty much just did it in my normal
Yeah, it's great.
voice.
I am kind of freaking out a little bit just hearing because
Yeah,
you are so Guybrush. It's great.
it is funny when I'm talking to people. I'm talking to people I don't know very well who have played the games. Like, you can see every once in a while, you can kind of catch on their face they're doing that. Why is Guybrush's voice coming out of this big Italian dude? Um,
So
so
how
yeah,
quickly, you don't have anybody in the room. That's just they have to send it off. So there's no, at this point you
yeah.
threw it out there. How long did it take to get kind of any feedback or a callback or
I don't remember. It was probably a couple of weeks, probably 2 or 3 weeks. I'm guessing. I don't remember exactly.
how many more
Um,
hoops after that first audition? Did it just continue
just
to?
one. So
That,
and it's funny because I mean, and you're an actor, for any people, I think anybody who has longevity in that line of work, you get pretty quickly, you have to either get used to just, look, I do my audition, and then it's gone, and you just
yeah.
have to let it go. You let it go, you forget about it,
But there are those
and you get a
times that you
call.
care so deeply, and you
There
just
are
your
those that are
heart gets
hard to
broken
get rid of.
so
Yeah,
bad, and you just
yeah,
have to remind yourself you
yeah,
can't do that again. And I
yeah.
imagine, not
This one I
everybody.
held on to.
I'll
I was
bet.
pretty good. I mean, at that point, I've been doing it since I was, 6 or 7 years old. I was pretty good at that point. It always just, now just let it go. I'm going to forget about it. And if I never hear anything again, I never hear anything again. That's fine. But this one, I was sort of like, I'd really like to hear back on this one. So I did. So I got the call back, and that was in the studio, at a different studio. I set up at a professional, not my agent's office, but a studio with the director, Dara O'Farrell, who came down from San Francisco, and he was holding, all the final auditions. And at that point, they'd narrowed it down to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 people for every role, whatever it was. And they gave me a little more script than the previous time, a couple extra scenes. I mean, it still wasn't a lot of stuff. It was maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It wasn't a whole lot of stuff. And I went in and I read for him, and we went through the whole thing, and then we got to the end, and it's time for me to kind of step out of the booth and say goodbye. And I did this thing where I'm like, should I say, is it going to be weird if I, and then I was like, I better just say it. I said, hey, Dara, I said, just so you're aware, I don't know, this seems goofy, I know, but like, I grew up on these games. I mean, to the extent I'm only 19 years old here,
Yeah.
but I've been playing these games for at that point, like 6 or 7 years. I love these games. I love them. I've played them through many, many, many times.
That's
I'm like,
huge.
I
That's
know
huge.
this guy. I know this guy. I know all these characters. I know these stories. I said, for what it's worth, that's there. And he's like, oh, okay, it's good to know. Thanks.
Right.
To hear him tell the story, and I have no idea to what extent this is true. It's secondhand, but he said he went back to Jonathan and Larry, who were the project leads, and he said at that point they had really narrowed it down to me and one other fellow. No idea who it was. Um, and they were kind of hemming and hawing and going back and forth. And Dara says he kind of spoke up and said, he said, this guy Dominic is like, he's a fan. He's like, he knows the games. He knows them way better than I do. He knows all the characters and everything. And they're like, well, maybe we should do that then. Let's go. If they're looking for a
Oh man.
tiebreaker, it sounds like. I mean, I don't know if it
Well,
would have made it. I don't know if it made a difference, but it
you
certainly.
probably would have got it anyway. But the thing is that even if it was, yeah, like you said, and it's rare that, that's a rare thing that you
Yeah.
knew this series and this game and this character to such a degree way before this ever happened. So yeah,
Oh,
that's amazing. It's funny you say that you don't know the name of that. It would be really neat to figure out who that guy was.
the
I
other. I know. I'm
yeah,
so curious. No, I don't know.
this year I when I did this whole series with this oral history project of Phantasmagoria, reaching out to all these people, I had found out even when I first got cast in the role that I was a replacement, or that somebody had been offered the role and then at the last
Oh
minute
yeah.
had to turn it down. And I had always known that. And then, having done this whole series, I got some people helped me sleuth it, and so we found the
Oh
actor
really?
who turned it down, and I got to do an interview with him. So it was really fun to
Oh,
hear
that's
his side of the
hilarious.
story about why he, what was the story behind it, and that was really really fun.
Was he
So
bitter about it, or has he done very,
he
very well?
wasn't. He was a little bitter about it. He was a
Oh no.
he was doing pretty well in his career. He was in some
Yeah.
Stephen King movies. He was kind of off and running, and he got offered this part, and he was super into it. And his agent said,
Yeah.
"This is pilot season. We got so much going on. There's just no way you can do something like this." And he said, you know, so he turned it down because there was too many other opportunities. And he said, and I didn't get a single pilot that year. I
Oh
sat around the
no.
entire time just
Oh
wishing I was
no.
doing the thing. So I had to thank
Oh
him for that. So
no.
yeah.
Oh,
um,
that's rough.
so so then you start by doing the third game, which is now
Yes.
6 years or so after the first two, and
Right.
Ron isn't involved, right? So you're doing, but a lot of the other people that were directly involved in the writers were. Was this? There was still a lot. This was
There was some crossover, but I mean, I'm trying to, because like Tim was gone and Dave was gone. So the three main guys. I mean, I'm sure that there were. I'm trying to remember who worked on. There's less crossover than you might have thought.
okay.
I feel like in between 2 and 3 there was, there was a good stretch of time, and maybe like at the more in the peripheral staff level there were people who had worked on it, but in terms of like project leads, writers, even the audio, all that, I think it was all different people,
Yeah, yeah.
if I
Huh.
recall. I might be misremembering, but
Yeah, and I know that it's funny. So I started. I played 1 and 2,
right.
and now we're just starting to play Curse, and I'm struck by and loving the changes, and I love how it's progressing. uh, since I've been playing it on,
Curse is maybe the biggest entry point in the series.
right,
I
and
mean, maybe, I think it might even be more than the first game. I
yeah,
get the impression.
I think you're right. I think a lot of people started with that and then they
Yeah.
went back, but I think the people that started like you did really had a hard time with the adjustment of the look, and the
And
um,
understandably so. I mean, I
yeah.
didn't, because I was just riding
Thrilled to be
high.
doing it, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. It's like, what am I gonna? Well, I don't know about this. Yeah, no, I was pretty pleased with everything.
Uh,
But
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 anyways, I started playing it with my, so I played it online in front of all of our folks and friends here, and I just thought, oh my gosh, my kids have, I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old, and my wife had never played, so I said, you guys
yeah.
got to check this out. So instead of a movie one night, we booted it up, and we started with Secret of Monkey Island. Oh my God, they loved it so much. It's just they got so into it. They're way better than I am at figuring stuff out. And and then when we got to, it's funny because as kids, they like things the way they are, right? So at first, when they saw the first Monkey Island, they're like, "Wow, these pixels are kind of weird. That's not what we're used to." But then they decided that they loved it, and then we get
Right.
to LeChuck's Revenge, and there's a little bit of an, they've changed, and they didn't like it at first, but then they got used to it, and then they just started to play Curse, and they're like, "Oh, we
No.
do not like this at all. It has to be the old way." And I'm sure by the time we get,
Wait till they play Escape.
that's what I've heard too. Yeah, so
That was a bit of a departure there.
that's what I hear, and I hear a lot of people that's not the most favorite of all the games, but
Yeah, well, like, hey, they all have their charms, but admittedly, that was certainly of an era where people felt absolutely compelled to do 3D. So,
yeah.
what are you gonna
So
do?
I want to be mindful of time, and there's so much that I'm just loving this, and I want to. Can we briefly,
Sure.
so we did Curse. You got through that.
Yep.
How quickly did that? Um, when that came out, what was that like for you, and what was that like for? Did that? Yeah, I'm just curious what the response to that was,
I
and
mean, it was wonder. I mean, the thing that was amazing. I mean, of course, at the time, the thing that was amazing to me was, print magazine reviews. It's like I'm reading I'm picking up print magazines, which is, there was a little bit of stuff online. I mean, I hung out in some of the Monkey Island forums and stuff. There was an IRC chat that I used to always hang out in. So that was really cool. But still, it's a small number of people you're interacting with.
right.
So it's still kind of in a vacuum.
But in the world that in this world, it was a hit, and people were
Oh
thrilled
yeah.
about it and excited. And and I imagine I imagine your stock went up a little bit in that video gaming world, or it is,
Probably, I
yeah,
guess. I
yeah,
don't, I mean, I didn't, I really, I didn't do it. I got to do a few other things. I mean, I got a little more work, but I feel like it wasn't, I don't know. I think it was different back at the time, is, eh, within the video game community, maybe,
yeah.
but it wasn't like that. They certainly had no crossover, nobody in, animation
Yeah,
cared about.
Disney didn't
Yeah,
go, "Who's
no,
that kid?" Yeah,
whatever, Guybrush,
right,
whatever.
right.
Who owns who now? Yeah, I guess whatever impact it had was all opaque to me.
Okay, gotcha.
What I
So
mean,
then you get
and
to, oh, sorry, go ahead.
it wasn't like people are calling me up and saying like, "Oh, hey, you were great in Monkey Island. Would you come work on?" I mean, I went back to doing the little bits and pieces I get here and there. I
Yeah,
mean, I did like a Metal Gear Solid game where I got in the booth with 7 or 8 other guys and we were all Marine grunts and getting shot and slashed and all that kind of stuff, which is a lot of fun too.
yeah,
But it wasn't like no one's like, "Hey, that kid Dominic, he was great as Guybrush Threepwood. Let's get
right.
him to be the star in our new game." No, there wasn't anything like that.
Okay, gotcha. So
So,
then Curse comes out, does its thing, you're doing your
yep,
thing, and then I imagine you think you're kind of done, right? And then at what point do you find out
I was
about
hopeful. I
what
was hopeful because Escape came up. I mean, it was received well enough, and I was in touch with Dar because it didn't get me much work outside, but within LucasArts, because Dar O'Farrell was the director for basically all the games at that point, with a couple of exceptions. But he was directing all the games, and so I wasn't reading for other main roles. But basically, whenever there was a Star Wars game and he needed some stormtroopers or TIE fighter pilots or Cantina aliens or whatever, he'd give me a call and say, "Hey, why don't you come in and do a couple." So he was kind of, continually throwing me, "Hey, a session here, a session there," just some random
are you
lines.
getting wind at any point like, "Hey, we're kind of thinking about maybe
Exactly.
putting voices to the old games." Is that when did you start to hear
Oh no,
the
that's much later. No, that was much, much, much later.
Yeah, so
So,
at this
but
point, in terms of Monkey Island, you feel like you're done, or maybe there's something coming up that's
no, because
new,
they
but
were they were talking about it. It had done well enough that there was a question, "Hey, we're going to do a fourth one,"
okay.
and that happened pretty quickly. I mean, Escape was just a couple of years later.
Oh, so you did
So
you did two before you went back.
Curse, Curse and Escape were both, yeah. Curse and Escape were
Oh,
both
okay. See,
almost back to
I'm
back.
kind of out of the loop here. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
No. Curse and Escape were almost back to back, just a couple years apart. So I mean, I
Gotcha.
had a sense, and because I was, in pretty regular contact with the director, he kind of gave me the scuttlebutt. So I knew that it was successful. I knew they were happy about it. I knew that there was talk that they'd like to do another. So there was, like, "Hey, it'd be cool to do another." So then Escape comes right on the heels of that. And of course, the reception to Escape was not as glowy as it was to Curse. So at that point, after Escape, of course, I'm still like, let's do it again, and of course, nothing happens and it peters out, and I eventually moved back to Chicago, and that's when I learned that whenever Monkey Island comes, I need to assume that it is the last.
Yeah.
And that's what I need to do for my own sanity, because after Escape, I drove myself nuts for a while.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
like it's not like major pathos, but there were times
The
it's like,
phone rings like, hello, hello.
yeah, exactly. Seriously. So I finally
I'm
managed to,
available.
yeah. So I learned to just do it and then let it go, and
Yeah.
maybe it'll come back someday.
Well, how many
So
times you've had these? I mean, you have to do that, because especially with this series, I mean, it goes away, and you think, okay, and then you get the call, and then you get did you get the other two right away? Were they going to do both, or did you do the first one? And
oh, the special editions?
yeah,
When the special editions came up, that was the first like call after a long layoff.
right.
So
And were they calling
was
about both of them, or was it going to be one and then see
no,
how it goes?
they were calling. Well, so it was interesting too, because the whole thing would happen with the special editions and then the Telltale games happening at the same time, Tales of Monkey Island. So what had happened was that both LucasArts and Telltale at the same time thought to themselves, hey, it's about time, let's bring back Monkey Island. So Telltale wants to do their series, Tales of Monkey Island. They contact LucasArts about getting the license. LucasArts says, funny you should ask, we were thinking about doing the special editions of the first two. So, let's kind of work this together. We can build, so that was a bit of synchronicity there as well. So, and I don't remember how I got contacted first about that one. I'm a little surprised I don't remember how I got contacted first about that one. It might have been through some friends who were at Telltale at that point. But no, I learned pretty quickly that both the special edition and the new games from Telltale were going to be done at the same time.
All right, this is where my ignorance is going to come in. So I don't
Yeah, that's
know.
okay.
I know about the special editions of Secret of Monkey Island, LeChuck's Revenge. Tell me
Right.
about Tales of Monkey Island.
So
What?
Tales was when Telltale Games was kind of at its zenith, and their thing was the episodic, the adventures. They were 3D, they were episodic, almost all there. They would release the games in like 5 episode seasons, and each
Oh,
episode
wow.
you put them all together, and it's like a full adventure game, but they'd come out bit by bit. And they wanted to do that with Monkey Island. There were a bunch of people that Dave Grossman was over there at that point. He was at Telltale at that point. And there were, between I think a couple of LucasArts veterans and also some of the folks who I knew as the teenagers who were running the LucasArts fan sites back when I did Curse, had now gotten into the games industry, and now a few of them were working at Telltale. So there were a whole bunch of old Monkey Island fans and veterans there. So they wanted to do a new Monkey Island game. And it just happened to be that they contacted LucasArts about trying to obtain the license
Gotcha. Okay.
right at the time that LucasArts was thinking, hey, let's bring back the original Monkey Island and redo it and make it pretty and voice it and everything. So that all happened like within a 2-year span. We did the special edition of Secret,
Jeez.
we did the 5 episodes Tales of Monkey Island, the new installment, and then they needed to make sure the first special edition did okay. It was like, we're doing the first, obviously we want to do the second too, we just need to make sure the first goes okay. So then like a year later we did the special edition for LeChuck's Revenge. So that all happened very fast in like a 2-year window.
Dang. And so does so Tales of Monkey Island, is that now turned into like its own one? Because like you said, it was kind of episodic.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
is it
it's still broken down into the 5 episodes,
yeah.
but it plays as one story. It plays as one.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. I
You
got a
play.
lot of work
Just
ahead of
that's
me,
how
man. I've got a lot
That's just how
more.
they released them. They just released them in. That was like Telltale's workflow. That was their thing. That was just how they did their games.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, it was they release every month or two. They'd release another episode. So by the end, you could play through all 5 as a single game.
Oh, man. Okay. So then again, I know we're skipping ahead, and I want to, and I really want to get into some of your other. I'm very curious about your work as a food critic and all that, because I imagine there was a lot of time in between all this that you ended up, pursuing other passions and such. But just to kind of bring this.
And my personal career is totally changing too, because in between Curse and then that flurry of the special editions and Tales, I did the thing in LA for about 6 years. I had a pretty good run, but it's like, I'm missing home. My dad's company, we had a family business back home, was really taking off. He needed some help. I was getting a little lonely. All my old friends from high school and college were reconvening back in Chicago, and it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
It's so I kind of switched there. And then in between there and when Tales came up is when, I got married and had kids and moved out to Phoenix and had gotten into the food critic thing. So that
Crazy. How old are your kids now? How are they?
they're 16 and 13.
Okay. Yeah. We're the same age range, except we both have a 13 and I got one just 3 years below, and you got one 3 years older. So briefly, and because I haven't gotten, I've got a lot of catching up to do. So I'm going to probably have you back on in about 7 or 8 months to kind of catch up, because I'm dying to get to this new game. But yeah, tell me if you can the story of how Return, again, another however many years, 20 years go by, and how do we find out about?
So after,
had you ever met Ron prior to this? Was it?
So I met Ron. Again, for me, for me, it all kind of comes in 3 chapters. There's Curse and Escape. Those were those first 2.
Yeah.
Then there's the long, like decade-long layoff, and then there's chapter 2, which is the special editions and Tales, and that's when I met Ron for the first time, because Telltale brought me out to Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle to do like a little promo work as they were leading up to the Tales release and all that. So they had a nice Tales booth and we did a meet and greet and all that kind of stuff. They said, "Why don't you come out for a few days and we'll put you up and you can hang out at PAX and all that kind of thing." And of course, I'm telling them it's like, yeah, I mean, I want to hang out. That'd be cool. But also, I mean, I have a vested interest, from a professional standpoint, but more than that, I love these games. I want them to continue. I'm like, whatever I can do to help out, let me help, so don't be shy about it. I'm like, I understand you're bringing me out to kind of have fun and do some meet and greets. I'm like, but go ahead and put me to work,
Yeah.
So I kind of figured, they'd have like a couple interviews and a couple meet and greets, and I'd mostly get to hang out and check out PAX. And I get there and I get my schedule, and it's like wall to wall every day from like 8 a.m. until, and I was like, this is great. Yes. And just nonstop interviews. So it was fantastic. And that's when I met Ron, because he was, he lives in, I don't remember if he lived in Seattle at the time, but he was certainly out there. And he was at the show, and I finally got to meet him, which was tremendously intimidating.
I bet, because he'd been away for so long. He wasn't around when you got to, he wasn't involved in picking you. I'm sure you're thinking maybe.
I was scared to death.
Yeah.
And not because of him. He's just a sweet guy. He's a wonderful guy. I love hanging out with him, and I wish I could do it more often. But just, coming from my place of, the fact that he had worked on the first 2 chapters of his baby and then left the company and then had it continue without him, and that his lead character is now being voiced by some.
Oh yeah. There's got to be some.
I was scared, because I'm like, what if he hates it? What if he hates it? What if he hates me?
Yeah.
I could envision scenarios where it will be perfectly not for him to hate me personally, but where it would be perfectly reasonable for him to be like, oh, I hate this kid they cast for Guybrush.
What were they thinking?
Yeah, exactly. So I was scared. But no, he was just tremendously gracious and just a super nice dude. And we got a chance to hang out for a bit. And, he came out to the Telltale team dinner, because, he knew, everybody knows everybody. So, and we got to hang out and chat, and it was really, really nice. And beyond that, I didn't have much interaction with him, maybe like a social media post here or there or something like that. But it's not like we were buddies or anything like that. We had a nice time hanging out. But then, so, fast forward 12 years. And at this point, I am certain that Monkey Island is dead. Like, the day all hope went out of me was the day they announced that Disney bought LucasArts, because I thought, oh crap, that's it. They've got Pirates of the Caribbean. There is absolutely no reason for Monkey Island to ever see the light of day.
Right. Why would they almost want to just maybe put the kibosh on it, really, because they don't
exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. It's like the day they announced that, like the vision I had in my head, like the visual I had, this is really corny, but the visual I had in my head was of them like taking all the Monkey Island IP and swag and paraphernalia and tossing in a crate and hammering in the nails and then like wheeling it into the warehouse, like at the end of
Raiders.
the Lost Ark. Yeah,
Ark.
to be lost and buried in this
Yeah,
mountain
yeah.
of Disney IP, never to be heard from again. So I assumed that's when I assumed it was dead. But then we were on vacation, 2021, fall of 2021. I was in October. I was just, my family and I, it's like, hey, we can finally travel a bit. Let's go to Seattle. It's a cool town. We'll drive up to Vancouver. Lots of fun stuff to do with the kids. So we're on vacation in Seattle. And while we're sitting in the hotel room, I get an email from Ron Gilbert. And it says, "Hey, Dom." It's like, it was just talking about you the other day. I was just thinking about you the other day. I just wondering how you're doing. Is everything going okay by you?
You're like, okay, are you, is this the real, am I being
Ron
spam?
Gilbert.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. We're on good terms, but Ron Gilbert isn't just dropping me a line out of the blue to see how I'm.
There's
Like,
something up.
there's something going on here. Yeah, exactly. And I said, "Hey, Ron," I said, "It's funny you should contact me now. I'm in Seattle right now." And so he writes me back. He says, "Oh, great." He's like, "You want to get a cup of coffee?" He's like, "Let me tell you about my new game." I'm like, "This sounds great." And so I made plans to see him. We just get together for a cup of coffee the last morning that we were in town.
And he's made a
And
bunch of games since then. So I
yeah,
imagine
tons of stuff.
you're
And
probably thinking there's something, but it could be Thimbleweed Park. It could be
exactly,
whatever. It could be all
exactly.
these
This
things,
is the
right?
thing.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds insane to people, but the thought never crossed my mind that he might be doing Monkey Island.
Well, because he was off. There was no way how would he get the, yeah,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can see
I
it
mean,
doesn't
he
seem the
talked about the
same.
past.
Yeah.
But my thought was, my hope was at that point, okay, he's got some new project he's working on,
Yeah.
and maybe there's some character, and he thought to himself, hey, you know what, Dominic would be perfect for that.
Right.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah.
And it was gonna be some new game and some little role that he thought I'd be good for. And we sit down, we're just having coffee and chatting and all that, and he finally says, "So you want me to tell you about the new game?" He's like, "Yeah, let's hear about the new game." He says, "I'm making another Monkey Island."
Oh man.
What? And I went
man.
nuts. There was a lot of very loud swearing. And
he said,
was,
"Now I'm wondering if you know the name of that guy that didn't get the part, because I'm really thinking I can't remember him."
But you could have looked him up. And it was funny because Ron told me, we talked for a little while about it. Of course, I'm like, trying to breathe, and I'm getting over it. And I think it was probably an entertaining moment for him. But he finally told me, he said, "I'm so glad." He says, "I was so nervous." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "Dude, I'm like I'm the last one you need to worry about." It's like, he's like, "Yeah, I get that." He says, "But on the other hand, if you
Yeah, what if you weren't available? It could have been,
it
could have been a
exactly.
thing.
I was like, no. It's like, how am I not good? When would I be available?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's like, sorry, I lost my tongue last year.
So we'll come back and talk more about, I mean, if you don't mind, at some point I'd love to have you back, because once I finally get to return. But tell me about, I think the last interviews I've seen you do were before it was released, and so it's out now. The response has been stunning. I'm just curious what your take has been since it's been out, and how things have, what kind of.
First of all, this was the one that I always wondered about. Like, what would it be like for there to be a Monkey Island release in the social media era? And I mean, it's amazing. It's just incredible. I mean, and I kind of, anytime there was a big thing happening, like either release day or a trailer dropping or whatever, it's like I plan my schedule and I just like book that day. I'm going to drop the kids off at school in the morning, and then my whole day I'm just going to sit in front of the computer and absorb it, because it's like, our pace right now is we get to do this once every decade.
Yeah,
it's like,
right.
I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to make sure I enjoy every single moment of it.
Yeah.
And now it's sort of like I always knew they were out there, and you get an email here and there and a message here and there, but to have so many people, just expressing these feelings all in real time, it's just mind blowing.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, it's one thing to intellectually know that these people exist, and it's another to just to be there with them and to interact with them. And we're not all in a room together, but it sure as heck feels like it. You know what I mean?
Well, but to also know that there's, again, coming into this whole world so late in life and sort of playing so much catch up, and for me, I would never. The idea of the first person shooter games and the fast action stuff. That's just too much for me. It's never been something I would be interested in. But this world of this point and click, this, the puzzle solving, the character work, and the take your time and being able to explore a world slowly and interact is so great. And
it's all about the stories.
Yeah, it's all about the stories
and the way it's all about the story. It's all about the stories, and it always was. And I think that's.
But I guess I want to just get at is that when there was a certain point, it's just like the blockbusters right now, and in the Marvel world, it's gotten to the point that it's so big that we've forgotten how wonderful the smaller things can be. And it sounds to me like Return to Monkey Island has shown not only an older audience but a newer audience how. I mean, it's like he's paving the way again for a potential renaissance. I mean, I went to one of the PAX conference in Seattle this year. I was invited as a guest, and I got to see the panel of all the Sierra.
I was
online.
there with you.
Oh, were you there?
I was there too. I was in the room.
Oh, that's great. So we
were all in the second row.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't meet you at the time, but I thought Ron was just wonderful. I really loved the way he, and my son was there, and he really connected with Ron and how he, but really just the sense that, and it's not that it's ever gone away, but it's showing that there's a real place for this. And I think that the success of Return is going to hopefully show the higher ups with the money that there's that this is a real potential for more, and it's exciting to think that we can get more of that stuff going.
And not just Ron too, but I mean the other thing too is he's always sort of the silent partner, but Dave Grossman. Again, you talk about someone who is just so thoughtful and so sharp and so intelligent in everything that he writes and does, with this series and with everything he does. Dave Grossman is, I think, just by his nature, as he tends to be, he's a very quiet, reserved guy, and I think I think because of that, sometimes I think he gets a little overlooked in the duo. I mean, this was their game. I mean, I know Ron's the name and the creator and all that, but he'll be the first to tell you that he and Dave they wrote and designed this thing together. And Grossman too, the two of them, and they just seem I've never seen them like work together exactly, but I get to spend time talking with both of them about games and about storytelling and about shows they like, and they're both so thoughtful about that, and they understand. I mean, they understand good characters, and they understand good stories, and they understand what makes these things tick. Those little moments that people connect with. They're so good at creating that, and they were, even back in the day when that very much was not the trend. I mean, I think you see in gaming today, sort of the rest of the industry has figured that out, and which I think in general has made games much better across the board, all genres. I mean, that always was the thing with these types of games. But even action-y shooty games now, I mean, a lot of them really work to try to create at least some story and some connection and pull you into it, and as they get better with that, I think it gets deeper and deeper as as an art form. So.
Well, okay. Here's the thing. I got 20 minits with you left, and there's a couple things I want to do before, and we'll see. I apologize, chat. I know you probably have tons of questions for Dominic, but I'm going to bogart a little more time. So, two things. My kids love Guybrush Threepwood, and my son has a question for you, and I have a request from you. So, well, my son and my daughter both have a question, and my son's question was, he loves the line, "Can't dig that, daddy." Do you remember that line from? It's from the first one. Is there every time he goes?
Which one was that from?
Every time he goes to the swamp, it's in the first one. I think it's in the first one. Is it in the first one or the second one? Somebody's gonna have to tell me.
I don't recall.
I think it's in the second one.
Well, the swamp is swamp. Yeah.
He's in the swamp, and so if you try to, I'm frozen. Why am I? Oh, there I am. Looks like we're having some. There we go. I think I'm back. Looks like we're getting a little bit of.
I got you.
Okay.
Yeah, a little
but he, every time you try to, hit a shovel in the swamp, Guybrush says, "Can't dig that, daddy." And so he was, and I was trying to explain to him that dig that, it's kind of the old hippie phrase, and
a little closer in the 80s than we are now. Yeah.
Exactly. So if you wouldn't mind, what I would love is for you in your best Guybrush voice to just say, Hayes, his name is Hayes. Hayes, can't dig that, Daddy. Can I get that from you?
Hayes, can't dig that, Daddy.
Nice. And now this is going to be great. And now my daughter, she wanted to know what your favorite, which your favorite. It's gonna be a tough one, but like, what was your favorite game to work on? What was the one that just you loved the most? Oh, I'm freezing. Here we go. What do I need to do? Don't know why I'm freezing up. All right, keep.
It's really. I always would have said Curse. I would have said Curse because I mean, there's no, that was dream fulfillment. There's no topping that. Return's a close second. Just because Return's a close second because it was the only time that I've gotten a chance to dig into the game before recording.
Yeah.
Which never happens. And also because in some ways, a lot of those themes about, getting older and coming back and what you haven't done in your life, that are kind of woven into, those sort of autobiographical themes that are woven into Return to Monkey Island for Dave and Ron. Also, those strike a little close to home too. So
yeah, I've heard of. I can't wait. I hear there's so much heart and soul in that. I can't wait to dig into it. Yeah.
Knowing where you're coming from and all that with this, I have a hunch that it's going to resonate with you in some special ways.
Oh, I'm sure. Okay, and then now I can't leave Sylvie out. So can you say to Sylvie as Guybrush? Can you say her last name is Stetler? Can you say Sylvie Stetler is a mighty pirate? Prepare to die.
Sylvie Stetler is a mighty pirate. Prepare to die.
Oh, that was really good, except it's Stetler. One more time.
So sorry. Okay. Take two. Sylvie Stetler is a mighty pirate. Prepare to die.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much. All right, now I'm going to test your knowledge as a gamer.
Oh, no.
Not as
okay.
So, I'm going to hurl some insults at you, and we're going to see how well you do at giving me the proper comeback. So I need some Guybrush comebacks from all the insults I'm going to send your way.
Okay.
And we'll start simple.
And before you start here, are we on land or at sea?
Oh, this is a great question. I don't know. I just have a list here of insults and comebacks.
All right. Okay. All right,
so you're going to have to do your best. All right. Okay. We'll start simple. You fight like a dairy farmer.
How appropriate. You fight like a cow.
Love it. I've spoken with apes more polite than you. Tough one.
I see you attended your family reunion.
Nice. Okay, 2 for 2. Soon you'll be wearing my sword like a shish kebab.
Then you better stop waving it around like a feather duster first.
Nice. All right, I need to get I'm going to go deeper. I once owned a dog that was smarter than you.
It's
It's smarter. Think about the smarter thing. Oh, I love it. You froze with that. There we go.
Yeah, I know, smarter than you. I can't. It's not coming right now. It'll come to me later if you don't tell me.
He must have taught you everything you know.
Everything you know. Oh yes.
Okay, let's see. I'll get one more in here. There. This is a good one. Here we go. Oh, we're both freezing up. This is crazy. Okay, come on. What do I need to do? I'm going to move away from this, and then I'm going to bring it back. I don't know why it's taking up so much energy here. Does this any better? I don't know why we're frozen, Dom. All right. Well, this might be the perfect time. There we go. We're here. Okay. Okay, your last one. You make me want to puke.
I'm sorry, all I heard was you make me.
You make me want to puke. It starts with the same 3 words.
I'm not frozen, I'm thinking.
I'm frozen.
I can't remember this one.
You make me think somebody already did.
But I already did.
Yeah.
Did.
Oh, I gotta tell you,
Yes. Ah,
yeah,
they're like they're like right there.
right there. No,
Okay,
you
cool,
you
man.
nailed it. You
All
got a
right,
bunch. That's great.
60%.
People are blown away by
B
your
minus.
thing. Yeah. All right. Well, I've got a few minutes. Let me see if I can crank out some questions here. I'm going to just start by asking a few questions from our Patreon members. Victor Chang wants to know,
Sure.
how did it feel recording Guybrush's lines for The Curse of Monkey Island when you were only 10? We talked a little bit about that. How did you change your delivery for each game, and did you have a favorite? We talked about favorite recording sessions. Oh, he just said that Victor wants you to know that your voice as Guybrush was iconic to me growing up, and I can't imagine anyone else voicing Guybrush. And I think that pretty much everybody here agrees. But yeah, as you got older, did you have to say again?
Let's hope Disney feels the same way.
Right, come on, Disney, let's get going on this thing. Did you have to adjust as you got older? Did you ever find that, oh, I need to? How did you maintain the yeah?
I mean, I did in some of the games. I did tweak things just a little bit. I mean, like when we went back to do the special edition of Secret, I definitely tried to really clean it up and a little more innocent, a little younger, but I mean, never anything big, just very, very, very minor. And thankfully I still, I'm not showing a lot of age yet, although I played a little bit of Curse before recording Tales. And there are some parts in Curse where I'm like, man, I sound young. It's like, there's some lines in that one that I'm not sure I could do quite like that anymore.
Right,
I think
right,
that may have come and gone.
right.
So, and also, even just some shades of difference in the older Guybrush sitting on the. Well, we won't get. We'll. I don't want to save it. You haven't played Tales yet, but
Okay,
but
yeah.
there's a little older, slightly more wizened guy. But it's no major.
Okay, cool.
Just a little subtlety here and there.
Derek Rucker wants to know
Excuse me.
any restaurant recommendations in the greater Seattle area. You've been here a couple times, and was there any restaurants?
Kamonegi. Oh my God, go to Kamonegi. It's so good. I mean,
Kamonegi.
there's so much.
Say that again.
Kamonegi. Kamonegi. It is it's sort of a contemporary Japanese soba shop.
Ooh.
And it's like everything I could possibly want in a Japanese restaurant. It is just so wonderful. I went there with my family, and I mean, it had like 7 or 8 things on the menu. Every single thing, just absolutely dynamite. I mean, anybody who follows the food scene in Seattle will know about this place.
Okay,
it's
great.
It's not flying under the radar.
All right,
but
that'll be my next date night with my wife here. That's great.
Deep love for that place.
Awesome. MDQP wants to know how long you can hold your breath underwater. I'm sorry, we're so choppy.
Oh, if I'm lucky for 45 seconds.
That's great.
All right. I don't even have, I used to have my lung capacity back in the choral days. My lung capacity was a lot better than it is these days. So, but maybe 45 seconds if I'm lucky. I probably could have gone 2 minutes back in the day. Maybe. Back when I was breathing exercises all the time.
When we played Secret of Monkey Island, I'm notoriously horrible at figuring out any puzzles, but that was the one time when you went underwater, and I guess everybody gets in trouble, trying to get. And I just immediately picked that thing up, and I was out just like that. So that was my one big success moment. I just grabbed it.
Oh no, that's terrible. I kind of feel, on one hand I'm impressed, but on the other hand I feel sad for you
because I missed,
didn't get to experience
the 10 minutes, right?
It's one of the great. Oh,
God, sorry.
Well, already not even the 10 minutes, but just if you got it right away, then you didn't experience that frustration of trying to figure it out and all these sharp objects and the T's, and then that moment when you finally realize, oh, of course, like that's one of those moments.
Yeah, I've had plenty of those, so I was happy to not have one. But the one that we all laughed at
All right,
in
fair enough.
LeChuck's the one we really laughed at in
Fair enough.
LeChuck's Revenge was when you finally uh, you're on the final island and you finally get to the where the X marks the spot, and then Tooth Rot says, "Oh, you could have just gone to my gone through my shortcut," and it was just like 2 feet away. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, I'm sorry. We are really
Of course.
struggling here with our internet connection or something. So I think I'm going to, just because I can see that OBS is just, we are slow as can be. I think I'm going to take this time to thank you, Dominic, give you a couple extra minutes to get yourself set up to go pick your kids up. And if you, it's a pleasure meeting you. It's really fun chatting with you, man.
Likewise, yeah, anytime. I'm not going anywhere. So
okay, well, I would love, yeah. Let's see if
around.
I would love. I would definitely reach out to you again in the near future, and as we get farther down these lines. But it's a real pleasure, and thank you so much for your time. And I'm sorry, everyone, that we're not going to be taking some Q&A from the chat, but we're struggling with
no problem at all.
Internet stuff.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. All right, take care, everybody. Please say goodbye to our friend Dominic Armato. Thanks, Dominic. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Right. Farewell.
Bye.
No problem.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Take care, man. Bye-bye. Well, I'm going to turn Zoom off. See if that helps at all. And guys, I'm going to try not to, don't go anywhere yet. Because we knew that Dominic had to leave a little bit early today. And so we thought that Daniel would come on after this, and we would sort of just boot up Curse of Monkey Island and play 20 minutes, half hour or something like that, because it's only 1:20 our time. I was hoping to get more time with Dominic. I'm still all glitchy. I'm still on my Mac, you guys. I just haven't had to figure out, I haven't been able to get everything set up on the PC yet. We'll get there. But I'm wondering if there's any way that this will I mean, we can't play the game if this is still so slow. So let me bring Daniel on. Daniel, if you want to, I'm going to start the Zoom up again. And let's see if we can, maybe you can tell me what I'm doing wrong here about all the, for whatever. Because if I stop the stream, then we're going to lose all you dudes. And we got a nice big group today. Let me start Zoom up again. It's a lot. We're doing I don't know why this is happening. But well, anyways, Dominic, what a really cool guy. What a fun conversation. We could have gone on for, God, easily another hour. And we didn't even get to his, other career, which I'm really interested in hearing more about. All right. It looks like, God, what's going on? Why is this so bad? I wish I knew what I was doing here. Yeah, I've seen Daniel has a message for me here. Disable the animated background. Okay, let's try that. I'll have to do it for, let's see if that's the deal. Let's do this instead. I'm going to get rid of that. Yep. And let's do that. Yeah, it's been glitching like crazy, you guys. Okay, it looks like it is the, let me do that solo, and I can do the same thing with the guest in a minute. Is this better? It's a little better. It's still slow. Let me get rid of this one. Ocean drone. Okay, so all right, it looks like we might be getting a little closer. That might have done it. It's not 100%, but I'm going to start the Zoom session, see if Daniel wants to pop on and see what we can do here. Let me get the new meeting going. But yeah, it'd be fun to play some Monkey Island and chat about. There he is. Okay. There you are. You're muted.
Hi.
Hi. It's not really. There you are. Hi there, Daniel. Good to see you. So, but we're still super slow. What am I doing? What do I need to do? Do you think it's just that? I got rid of the 2 times it's on there. Yeah.
Did you disable the animated background?
I did. It says my internet connection is unstable. Why is my internet connection unstable? I'm plugged in, and so I don't know, guys. This just might be. We were Yeah, we're just glitching out like crazy. Drop anchor.
Maybe you've got Netflix running.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I know my wife has a big work meeting today, so she is probably taking up more space than she normally does. Yeah, guys, I don't know. It looks like let me we can start a new meeting. Well,
no, instead of starting a new meeting, do you have a be right back screen?
Yeah,
maybe
I do.
You should switch to a be right back screen. Give it a minute or so, and then we'll see if it.
Let's do that. Okay.
If it's better afterwards.
Okay. All right. I'm doing that right now. All right.
Are we on? What's up?
Well, we are on, but it's the be right back. You and I are still super slow on Zoom.
Do they hear us in the be right back?
Yeah, they
or
do.
Are we muted?
Yeah, no, they can hear us.
Make sure that the desktop audio is.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think we might have to close it down. Unfortunately.
Okay. Although I see that it's getting better. A bit.
Yeah, no, it's not because you're.
Do you have anything else running in the background? Any YouTube videos or downloads?
No, but I can get rid of here. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of this. The only thing that I have is Zoom and OBS. Well, this is getting a little better. Oh, it looks like we're moving around a little. Okay, well, let's try this. I watched.
You could have muted us.
Huh? No. What the heck? Let's just keep it.
Let's give them the behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think we're moving along here. Okay. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll tell you this. Last night I was about to go to bed. I've been up. I've been totally just. I'm zonked out of my mind because I was in New York and then I was here and I had to wake up too early and then some jet lag and then had to work really early yesterday morning and then. Last night I was going to go to bed early and then I accidentally turned on the Australian Open. I don't think there's many tennis fans here, but anyway, I ended up watching Rafael Nadal, and he's playing an unranked player. He's supposed to win, but he wasn't doing very well. And then he started to come back and then he hurt his hip, like really, really totally hurt his hip. You could tell he was in so much pain. But he decided to keep playing. He ended up losing, but he didn't give up. He just kept going. So I'm feeling like I'm not saying I'm Rafael Nadal, but let's see if we can keep going. And it looks like it's working right here. So rather than quit like he could have done, We're still online. We aren't glitching. It'll probably start glitching once the game starts. But let's. How did you think the interview went, Daniel? This is we've never done this in real time.
It was great, and every now and then I would switch the tab and just listen to the interview while it's going on. And it was so weird that you were talking to Guybrush Threepwood, because when you watch it, then you understand it's Dominic. But when you listen to it,
you're talking to Guybrush.
It's weird.
It is. He is. And he said, I'd seen a different interview with him, and he said that no one recognizes his name. No one says, "Hey, are you the voice of that thing?" It's only after you know that you notice it. But he's that surprised me that he had never noticed it before. No one ever recognized his voice before.
I mean, when he's enthusiastic about something, like the story he had about how he got the role for Curse of Monkey Island after being a fan of Monkey Island, then when he speaks enthusiastically, then he actually sounds like Guybrush. And when he speaks in his normal voice, then you might miss it. But when he speaks enthusiastically, it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm getting some fun snarky comments about my not quit. Paul never gives up. Just like Raphael.
Paul was about to give up.
I was about to, but no, I wasn't. I was going to keep trying. Well, that was awesome. He was your Guybrush. I had to make you back to Daniel here. He's great. He's really great. And we could have gone, and we had so many things. I mean, that's what I love about these conversations, is that you really can. I mean, there's so much to cover. So we'll have him back on. It's a perfect thing to have him back on when we get a little farther.
It's a good thing that you didn't play Return, because now you have an excuse to bring him back.
Totally.
Not just the lag, but the game.
Exactly. And we need to we got to have Ron Gilbert on now too. That's just sorry about that. There we go. All right, I'm going to try to boot up. Should we play? Do you want to try to play a little bit of Curse? And you guys up?
Yeah, let's play.
We got some people here still, and we can break this up eventually and just put the second part of this video into our Curse playlist, and then the first part can just be Dominic. Let's do it. Where did the game go? Paul and Daniel and game. All right, let me start the game first. I guess I should have taken a little break, but I'll do that in a minute. Let's get the game going.
You want to take a break? You should have taken the break when we had the Be Right Back.
Well, I was all worried about things not working. I was trying to work on things. Okay. Let's see what Daniel's solo looks like. It's probably wonky. Oh, I knew it would be
wonky.
Yeah, it's totally wonky. Here, let's do this. Let's go back to this. Where are we? Oh, Daniel game.
You know, it's a good thing that this is the last stream from the Mac. Hopefully,
I don't know,
because it was a best of all of the issues we have experienced over the years.
Yeah, Paul and Daniel. Let's get rid of that one. Let's do this. Okay. I know what's going on here. Sorry, I've got to get rid of some ocean things. We're on a couple of other deals. Let's get rid of that. This is going to make it go better, I think. Sorry, you guys get to watch all the behind the scenes stuff. All right, there's that.
We missed the donation from James Jenkins.
We missed donations from everybody. I mean, I saw them, but yeah, let's. Can you do me
James
a favor?
Jenkins donated $50.
Dang, James, thank you. Optimize.
Hey, you want me to read all of them?
Yeah.
I'll read them while we do some stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, Muffet Reborn donated $20. A huge thanks to getting Sir Dominic to join today. It was an absolute pleasure and an honor to have him. Paul can bogart all his extra time for the family, but he can't stop the tip messages from the chat. I'll need to re-watch this later as I'm working. Rewatch it, and then you will feel how I felt. Listening to Paul talk to computer game characters. Then again, he is a computer game character.
Yeah.
Schwex donated $5. Schettenegger donated $3. Thomas donated $20. Never pay more than $20 for a computer game.
Never pay more than $20 for a computer game.
Remember that we chose this dialogue option when we finished Secret of Monkey Island. That was the last thing that Guybrush told.
Oh, okay. Right. That's right.
Astronaut Down. Here's a little something to kick donations off. Donated $30. And that's it.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Now we are 69% of our goal today. So maybe we can play a little curse and get going. All right. I think I've got everything all set up. So let's do it. There's us. Here's the game. And I remember, boy, this is jumping in out of nowhere. We went up, we made the chair go up and we grabbed something. And
the scissors,
which we haven't used yet, but we have them for something, right?
That's correct.
And then the last I remember, you had said, hey, you should go chat with these dudes, that there's more stuff to explore here, but we didn't do it because we were running out of time. So is that what I should do?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, did you want to turn the
Yeah, I'm turning it on right now.
All right, thank you. Oh, James, you're donating money to hear the awful widgets. All right, Daniel will have to.
Wait, he donated $30?
He did.
Okay, then I'm activating it manually.
Okay, here we go.
I'll activate all three.
We got to work on that. We have to come up with some. You're gonna have to talk about our widgets.
Here it comes.
All right.
Here it comes. No, I'll choose the old baby.
Oh, baby!
There we go. So-and-so
tipped $30. Born too late to explore the Earth. Born too early to explore the universe. Born perfectly to explore dank memes.
Yeah, that was longer than I wanted it to be. All right, we're all here. You guys want to watch some? Let's play some curse. All right, so let's get it going. Everybody hear everything? Looks like it can be heard. Okay. All right. Oh, I forgot. There's new things to talk to somebody. Like, what's the new? I forgot. Wait.
You hold the mouse button down, and then you see a coin with the verbs.
So that's grab. That's probably talk. No, that's look. The parrot is talk. Okay. Are you sure you don't want to join my crew? You went from pirating to hairstyling. Why?
You went from pirating to hairstyling. Why?
The
Dominic.
music of the sea is something that takes hold of your soul and never lets go. But the life of a sailor is a rough one, and the sea shows no mercy. It was no easy choice to leave, but I realized that I could still enjoy the music
Right
of the
said
sea.
Brett tipped 3 pieces 08. Don't you dare change those gurning donation faces, Paul.
Well, we can add some more so it's not just the same one. Let's see. How do I get this to come down a little bit? I need to reconfigure it because they can't see the. Here, let me do a quick little. All right, said Brett. I'll keep them, but we should add more so it's not just the same ones every time. You know, that's my thoughts on this process. Here we go. Let's bring that down a little bit. That looks better. All right, let's keep going. Thank you. All right.
While remaining safely on land.
Through affordably priced sea shanty.
Through affordably priced sea shanty compilation albums?
He does sound younger
No,
there.
by starting a barbershop quartet, obviously.
Obviously, but there are only 3 of you.
Auditions didn't go as well as we'd hoped. We once had a tenor named Dominic, but he left. Artistic differences.
Dominique. That's him. It's Dominic. It's him. He's gonna become part of the barbershop quartet. You still don't explain to me why you chose hairstyling. Oh, my feet are killing me. I could be
Just like in Phantasmagoria, you have Paul.
Why does it say, oh, my feet are killing? Okay. I want to hear this.
Oh, my feet are killing me.
What was that?
Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. My mind was wandering. Please go on.
Well, we spent so much time coming up with a clever name for the shop, we realized we were going to have to give up singing and actually become barbers. But I still like to think that we're not just cutting hair, that maybe, just maybe, we're teaching people a little bit about themselves.
Well, I hope so. Bet you have a ton of cool pirate stories. Are you sure you want? Oh, what happened to the line of? Did I miss out on becoming part
Are
of the
you truly
barbershop?
happy with this line of work?
I may return to the sea one day, but for now I'm happy helping pirates look their very best. At least until we find a fourth for our barbershop.
Oh, here we go.
quartet.
Get another shot. I could be a fourth.
I could be the fourth for your barbershop quartet.
No, that's okay. I was wrong. We don't need one after all.
Oh, come on. I've really got away with a ballad.
All right, then.
Nice.
Let's hear what you've got.
Okay. Which one do you guys want? Some first one. Tell me which one you want. And if it's the first one I see, I'm gonna click on it. There's a monkey in my pocket. I've got a friend in the ocean. Plunder on my mind. Wooden leg, restless heart. Silver's, long johns, or what was I thinking? I can't sing. Anybody? Good old Curse of Monkey Island or the memories. Jolgna, you're a new person. How are you? Welcome to joining us. All right, no one's saying anything. You got 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna do Plunder on my mind.
Plunder, plunder, how I wonder how'd ya get so doggone pretty? Home to sailors, barbers, tailors, and Puerto Pollo, your capital.
Oh, my dear, sweet, merciful Savior in heaven.
Pretty good, huh?
You must take an oath now, before man and God, that you will never, ever again sing in public.
So, what are you telling me exactly?
Are you sure you don't want me to join my crew? Are you truly happy with this line of work? Let me try out for your barbershop retort again. I bet you have a ton of cool pirate stories. Okay, we're now in a bit of a loop. Missed a couple things here.
Are you truly happy with this line of work?
At least until we find a fourth for our
We did that
barbershop
already,
quartet.
okay. All right.
Are you sure you don't want to join my crew?
I told you, not unless you give me sufficient insult and beat me in a duel.
Right. We have to beat him. I'm glad you said that again.
Yeah, beat him in a duel.
Okay, how do I do that? I gotta get out of here.
How do you
Whoa,
challenge
look at the
someone
time.
to a duel?
Gotta scoot.
Do I grab him? Push Edward.
Maybe
No.
something in your inventory.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even looked at my inventory in a while. Oh, glove! Smack him with the glove. That's what you do. Boom.
Now there's a challenge.
Nice.
To the field of honor. Choose your weapon.
Oh, guns are guns. Pistol? Pistol? Pistol. Does one work better than the other? Let's try this guy. I'm gonna grab it.
I choose this pistol.
No,
If I beat you, will you join my crew?
what do I
The
do?
odds of you beating me are so
do I do?
astronomical, I will take that bet. Again, I prove to you I'm the greatest duelist in the world.
I couldn't do anything. Could I do anything?
Yeah, challenge him again.
Okay.
But
I
think outside of the box. Literally.
Ah.
Haven't I shamed you enough?
You haven't even begun to see me shame.
Back to the field of honor then.
You haven't even begun to see me.
Choose
shake.
your weapon.
All right. I'm gonna. Oh, I know what I'm gonna choose. Wait. I'm gonna choose something. Wait. Pistol. What am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to do. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go. You said outside the box. It's like something. It has to turn red. Outside of the box.
Is there something you can point on?
I'm trying to
Except
point on.
for the pistols.
I'm trying to point on all kinds of things, and nothing's turning red. That turned red.
Okay, what else?
That turns red. Oh, right here. Let's grab this. Banjo case. Oh, I can use. Can I sing? Can I use it? Use the banjo.
I choose the banjo.
I accept.
You do?
They're gonna do dueling banjos. They probably couldn't do the actual dueling banjos, so they had to create their own.
What's the matter, Brush Boy? Can't you keep up?
Aw.
I'm sorry, I just lost myself in the beauty of the melody.
Would you like to try again?
Yeah.
Sure, I'm just getting warmed up.
It's so cool, like playing this game now with having just talked to Dominic. It's just so bizarre. It's like he never left. It's like he's still here. And I got. By the way, if anybody wants,
Just think how I feel when I speedrun Phantasmagoria 2 right after I talk to you about your PC.
I'll bet. But you don't get to see me talk in the speedrun, right? It's just the boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I want to take one of the little animations, like the one right now of when you see Guybrush, like a close up of Guybrush, and I'm going to put the audio of Dominic saying those lines to my kids. That's going to be pretty cool. No, we'll put it out there. That's great. All right, here we go. So, am I supposed to do anything?
Yeah.
But there's I can't click on anything.
Follow the melody.
Oh. Oh.
Wait! Stop! That last note was wrong! I win! I win! Woo, woo, woo! Yes! You lose! Oh, I am so good!
What a sore winner.
Want
Yeah.
to try again?
Okay. Rock. All right. So I have to follow. Oh boy, this is where I'm just so good at these things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to watch his thing, and then when I do it, it gets red, but then I don't know. Okay, let's just
Sure,
watch.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Let's watch it. Okay. What else is to know? Okay. Okay, I think I got it.
What's the matter, Brush
Oh!
Boy?
When do
Can't
I
you
do
keep
it?
up?
Okay. Do I have to do it at the exact right time? I thought I was gonna, or can I do it anytime as long as I have the right
No, you need
pattern?
to do it the exact same time at the right time.
I thought I was there. Okay.
I just got a cramp, that's all.
All
Would you
right.
like to try again?
Do. Is it gonna be the same one each time, or is it switch up?
Sure,
Okay.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Okay, here we go. Fast. Down, below one. Fast. Low one again. Third one. Slow. Low, low. 3. Boom. Uh-oh. 2. Bottom. 2. 2. Oh, shoot. 2. No, remember, is it the top one after this? Top one?
5, 5, 5. The last one. The bottom one.
Then the top one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whew. Oh, come on. 2. 4. 1. 2, 4, 1. 3. 2, 4, 1, 3. 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. 2, 1, 4, 3, 5. Oh, 2. 2, 4.
Yeah.
1.
Mm-hmm.
3. And this last one. I don't remember the very last one though.
3.
Is it 3?
You're pretty good, boy.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see you follow this.
Oh no.
He's good. I'll never beat him.
What am I gonna do?
You know what to do.
What do I do? I pick it up a rubber tree. I don't know what to do. Pick up a rubber
What do we
tree.
do with annoying people? You should have been a face.
Yeah? Really? Wait, I thought I picked up the pistol, didn't I? I'm so confused. Wait, are you telling me I'm supposed to shoot him?
Yeah, pick up the
I
pistol.
thought I did.
No.
It won't let me pick
Is
anything
it
up.
in your inventory?
okay.
Check the inventory.
All right.
What? You shot my banjo.
You can't be sure of that. That shot may have come from the grassy knoll.
Of all the low-down
grassy
tricks,
knoll.
I never heard of anything so low. I completely misjudged you. You are a pirate after all.
Yes!
I'd be proud to join your crew.
Oh, fantastic. We got our first
I'll
crew
just
member.
pack this stuff up and get ready. And give me back my gun.
I'll
Yeah.
need 2 more sailors for my crew.
All right. All right, now I need to take that much needed break. So, here we go. Daniel, I don't know what your Daniel solo looks like now. I think it should be a little bit better. No, it was terrible. Okay, let me
Never mind. Leave me in the
no.
game screen.
No. It's gonna be fine. I want to do it. All right, I'll just do the game stream. All right, I'll take a little moment. Daniel in game. It's kind of funny though. All right, I'll be back. Paul via Zoom. Okay, back.
Oh, so you left me in the solo screen, even though I'm a quarter of my younger self. Anyway, hi everyone. I know that we can play the banjo by picking all of the notes, but the problem is that when the banjo is playing, it's a bit hard to determine which is which. So I didn't want to complicate the game for Paul. Anyway, tomorrow I'm going to interview the Scum VM team leader. If you guys have any questions, write them down on Discord. I have another interview lined up with David Fox in February. So if you guys have any questions for David Fox, I'll open a new channel on Discord, so you can send me the questions. I'm going to discuss with David Fox about Return to Monkey Island, which Paul hasn't played yet, and about a few other technical details which weren't covered in the original interview. Schwex is asking, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? That would be Michelangelo. So that's the question. Currently, I am further down the line. I'm going to talk to Mark Ferrari, who worked on the graphics for the EGA version of Loom, and Bill Tyler, who worked on The Dig and on Curse of Monkey Island. And I'm going to talk to everyone, basically. And I'm going to probably talk to Tammy Borowick as well, who worked on The Secret of Monkey Island. And maybe in the spring, later in the spring. And who else? And a few people from Sierra. I'm currently trying to find people who've worked on Phantasmagoria 2, which is quite difficult because the only person I know that worked on Phantasmagoria 2 is currently busy. He's one of the graphic designers. That's it.
Oh, now I can talk. All right. What did I miss? What's going on?
Nothing. I told people that tomorrow I'm going to interview Eugene Sandolenko, the ScumVM team leader, and a bit talked about the interviews down the line.
Excellent. Oh yeah, and I got Ross Scott is officially a go for the 27th. So we got very excited to talk to him. We'll re-release the short little interview we did with him back
earlier next week.
Yeah, and you guys can watch that, and then we'll use that as a little prelude to our new interview. I'm really excited to catch up with him. So if you guys, I imagine you all know who Ross is, right? And his Accursed Farms video series. If you don't, you should check it out. All right, I think I have to go get 2 more members. I got to talk to this guy. Let's go. All right, let's talk to you. What do I need to do, dude?
It's a salty pirate.
All right. Are you sure you don't want to join my crew?
How'd you break into the hairstyling industry?
Oh, sorry.
I saw an ad to join a barbershop quartet. Got a problem with that?
No, that must be very rewarding work.
What's that supposed to mean?
Mean? Well, just that.
That's our guy,
you
right?
know,
that's
cutting
our
hair and,
deep voice guy,
singing
right?
must
The
be
guy that was
just a lot of fun.
It's like a party every day.
No, that guy
Some days
is
I
voicing
just
Murray,
don't know how to
not voicing
contain
him.
my
Okay.
joy. I get giddy, and the laughter bubbles out of me like a sparkling fountain of mirth and gaiety.
Okay, new topic.
Do you really want to be a barber? Did your crew ever find treasure? Sure. Let's find out.
Are you sure you don't want to join my crew?
You still haven't proven you can find anything of value. Come back when you have some real treasure to show me.
Okay, I gotta find treasure for you. Did you ever?
Yeah.
Did your crew ever find
You
treasure?
want to go look for
We
treasure?
sailed for 2 years, and had finally started back to Plunder Island. But just as we started to doubt him, he paid off. We found sunken treasure right off the coast.
Wait a second. Was it an enormous pile of jewelry and gold coins and belt buckles at the bottom of the bay?
Exactly. How did you know that?
I just had a feeling.
Do you know any more part? Oh. Why did this guy not want to join our crew? I forgot. The big guy.
He wants a treasure.
They both want treasure. So I got one guy, but I gotta go find a treasure, and then I'll get these 2 dudes, right?
It's been a pleasure.
Well,
Bye.
first of all, you need to get treasure for Bill. Cutthroat Bill.
This is Bill. Yeah, okay. Gotta get treasure for him. And what do I need for Haggis McMutton?
Haggis has, I don't know if you talked to him and he told you about the test of strength, but you need to beat him in a test of strength.
Okay.
Are you sure you don't want to join my crew?
It's as I told you, Guybrush. Not
Okay.
until you can best me in the caber toss.
The caber toss. Yeah.
Could you explain this caber tossing concept again?
The caber is a large tree trunk.
Okay.
We go to the field of competition, and each of us heaves the caber as far as he can.
Okay.
The man whose caber goes the farthest is the winner.
Gotcha. Sounds great. Let's do this. Let's do it.
Sounds great. Let's do it.
No time like the present. All right. Nice. All right.
I would never follow such a weak captain.
Okay. So I need to. My Monkey Island Spidey sense is telling me that I can't. I don't have the stuff that I need to do anything right now. I need to get out of here and go find stuff. Or do I? Should I? Okay. Whew, okay. Off I go. Let's go find a treasure. He said something like it's underneath something. Where did he say it was? He said it was like
Maybe you should keep exploring this location.
this location.
Maybe go a bit to the left.
Where am I? I don't even know where I am. Oh, I'm down here.
You're
okay.
at the bottom.
Okay.
The barber shop, in Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine, which came out in 1999, and it was a 3D game. Then there was an Easter egg in which Indiana Jones would turn into a 3D Guybrush and would go to the barber shop.
Yeah.
And at first, it seemed interesting because if you take this style of Guybrush and make it 3D. Looks great, but instead, the year after, when they did Escape, they changed Guybrush's look. So,
All right, I can't go left. So left up on top. I got it here.
yeah, go up the stairs, go cross that bridge.
Right, said Brett tipped 3 pieces 08.
Wait a
I
second.
have faith that we can get the donation
no.
total to 100% if we all pull together as a team.
Oh, you guys are. Thank you, RSP. Oh, and
It
James.
has come to my attention that a large amount of money is missing from the discretionary fund. I think we all know who is to blame for the loss, don't we?
You know,
Go.
I think I'm
we
gonna
reached our goal.
I'm gonna spend $30 so that we don't see those anymore. I think it's probably worth it. Thank you, James. Thank you, RSP. So
We're gonna have a Wheel of Curtis.
Yeah, we got a real Curtis. And we can break these videos up now, right? We can. This doesn't seem like the interview should be, like the game should be on the same when we put it on YouTube. I mean,
Well, we're gonna lose the views. If you
Lose the
want, we can
views.
leave the playthrough in the interview,
and then add
and
the-
then
add it,
have
yeah.
the playthrough as a separate video as well.
Yeah. Let's do
Okay.
that. All right. Now what?
Let's go.
In here?
Let's continue walking.
Keep walking. Okay. Flyer. We already looked at the flyer. I don't remember what it says, but we'll keep walking. Boy, you're just doing a lot of right angles there, Guybrush. The dye vat. Did we do anything with the dye vat yet? There's a bunch of stuff we saw that we.
What does the sign say?
Lemonade. This sign. Pants.
No, the sign on the right. Yeah.
Okay.
Danger Cove. Danger, do not enter.
We did that already. So Danger Cove.
Yeah. Where does it point?
Beware.
We already went in here, and that just took us downstairs to something else. Walk through speaker. What's this?
No, maybe it points to the path.
Blondebeard's Chicken Shop. It's the two-way speaker for the walkthrough.
Two-way speaker for the walkthrough.
See, we have a sign that points to Danger Cove and another sign that says Beware.
Yeah.
And between these two signs, there's a pathway.
Well, it's not doing anything.
What a strange flower. Wow. This jungle is thick. I'll need something sharp if I'm gonna hack my way through there.
What do I got? What do I got? Gotta have something. I got scissors. I got me some scissors.
And use them.
I'm gonna.
You should.
I wonder if this plaque says something about the flower I just cut.
Well, let's check and see.
Ipecac, Cephalus ipecacuana, one of the creeping vines common throughout Plunder Island. The syrup made from the ipecac flowers was used by the early settlers of Plunder Island as a purgative.
Use scissors with the undergrowth. What? Oh, that's just... So I can't go in there. I got what I needed. There's nothing to... Can I go this way? No? Can I get through? No, I can't go through. Okay, so I got this purgative of a paperweight. What is it again now?
It's an ipecac flower. Nah.
Okay. That's not a
That's
treasure.
it. You're giving up.
I don't know. Let's push some stuff.
No.
Okay.
What happened
this?
in the pathway?
No.
There's something here. What do I do with this?
Nah.
Okay, you cut the flower, right?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't know. Okay.
Okay. But the signs still point to Danger
It's a chicken
Cove,
coop, but I don't see any
and the
chickens.
pathway is still blocked.
Blocked by what though? Undergrowth. So I still need to use the scissors on the undergrowth, but I what? Oh, okay. So now I can walk through. There we go. All right, got some new stuff. Got stuff to pick up. Tons of stuff to pick up. It's a golf club.
I wonder what this sign means. Snake crossing. What possible harm could a snake? Well, this isn't good.
All right, what do I do here?
Back in the day, this specific animation would cause the slower computers
It's the
to
fearsome
crash.
head of that pirate-eating snake.
This would cause the game to crash.
I
Yeah.
doubt he's in any mood to
If you
listen.
had if you didn't have enough memory.
I use the scissors. Where's the shovel, man? I need the shovel from the dig.
I don't want to cut that.
You don't want to cut that? Okay.
That's not even gonna phase this guy.
Okay, something bigger than that. Can I pick stuff up still? Can I pick up like a?
Oh, there are things in his belly.
I can't reach it.
you.
Oh, Fabergé egg.
It's a priceless, delicate Fabergé egg.
Okay, what do I do with it? Pick it up. What else do I got? I like the music. What else? What else? The vacuum cleaner attachment. Ugh. Lots of stuff. Ugh. Nothing else? Anything else? What's up? Okay. Head. Can I pick you up?
Yeah, I'd love to punch him one, but I don't want to make him angry.
Okay. And I can't get any of these things. Yeah, okay. Alright, so let's take a look at my inventory. I got a naturalist remains. Whoa, look
The
at all this
LucasArts mug.
spare time. These are all new. Eggs, coffee,
Mhm.
Fabergé egg, vacuum cleaner attachments, old phone books, encyclopedia. What's that? Oh,
It's volume C and it's mostly digested. I can only make out page 243. A compass is a magnetized bit of metal floating in a solution. What a completely random piece of trivia. I hate to think what would happen if these fell into the wrong hands.
what are they? Top secret plans, pancake syrup.
Maple.
What are you?
It's the remains of a member of the Plunder Island Naturalist Society. Those guys sure are dedicated.
I'm not sure if you've noticed, but on the top left, there's an arrow to the left because you have more inventory. Yep.
Holy
Now you
crap.
have an arrow to the right.
So that's okay. So that's all the stuff I had before, including the job.
Yeah.
The Jawbreaker's new.
And the
It's
jawbreaker
only
is
got a
when you
little bit of spit and hair on
patted
it.
cutthroat built on the back.
Oh, it came out of his mouth, right? Yeah. And then I got this guy. Let's do that. Ipecac flower. I got ember on a stick. Oh, I could use the ember on a stick. I wonder if that'll get him out. And I also have this pin. Pin's gonna blow up the balloons at some point. The music's kind of loud. Is it kind of loud? So
Nah,
turn
it's
it down on
fine.
my side. I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, but I don't know.
Just think, at the moment you're stuck in a certain location,
Yeah.
so you can't move. So the solution has to be somewhere around here. You have nothing more to pick up inside the snake, so
But I've got breakfast. I got
inventory
all kinds
puzzle.
of breakfast: coffee, eggs, bacon, pancakes, syrup, and then there's what's this thing? Reservation slip. I'm supposed to see what these things all are.
It's a reservation slip for Blondebeard's chicken.
Blondebeard's chicken.
looks like AirPods.
Dingy dog.
He's wearing a little shirt that says, "I whooped it up at Big Whoop." It's a complete array of vacuum cleaner attachments.
Before we
Plunder Island
entered
Yellow
Danger
Pages.
Cove, you had a sign that talked about the ipecac flower.
Right, and the ipecac flower was a purgative. Oh, right. So if you give him, he's gonna want to throw me up. Okay, let's ipecac it. Oh, oops. All right, there we go.
He's not going for the flower just by itself.
Okay, so I know. I gotta make it yummy. So I'm gonna use. Can you use?
What's the yummiest thing you have here?
Use ipecac
Well, I can't use the
flower.
flower on its own.
I know that, dude. With pancake syrup. Use.
No, so pick up the syrup if you want to use it on the flower. Pick up the syrup. Go to click on the left arrow.
Okay, so pick up the syrup.
Pick up the syrup.
Left
Click on the
arrow.
left arrow to
Okay,
go
that's
to
how you
that
do it.
section.
All right,
It makes syrup of ipecac. That seems logical.
it does. All right, so now let's do this, and let's give it to you. Ugh. But I gotta get all this stuff.
Whew. That sure was a close one.
No.
I thought for sure when I got eaten by
No.
that snake that I was
Can I
done
do-
for. Thank
Ah.
goodness I'm
There's chickens.
safe
This is great.
now. Hey,
I can't do anything. Can I do anything?
hang on. The quicksand is sucking all the cool stuff I found in that snake from my pants. Now there's an odd sensation.
All right. What do I do? What's this? What is this? Let's look at the plaque.
Papa Pea Shoe Bush. Discovered by Plunder Island's indigenous peoples, this bush is named after a native word meaning youch.
I don't know what to do. They got everything. They got all my stuff except for the reservation slip. So I need to put stuff together and get myself out of here. Right? Or
Take a
not
look
do
around.
that. All right, look around. What's this thing?
Quicksand pit. Quicksand pits of this type are common throughout Plunder Island's nature trails. Many an unwary traveler has found himself trapped and unable to escape. Uh-oh, anyone, please help me, I'm sinking?
What do I do with you? Can I grab you? Not gonna be able to grab you, of course.
No. Neat.
What else is there? Thorny plant.
As if the quicksand weren't bad enough.
But if I touch it, that's gonna hurt. Let's try it. Ouch.
Ah, Papa Pea Shoe. Well, I got the thorn. I hope that was worth it.
Yeah. Wait, what now? Papa
You got
Pea
the
Shoe
thorn.
bush.
The thorn.
Discovered by Plunder Island's indigenous peoples, this bush is named after a native word meaning youch.
Ouch, okay. What about this?
It's a bunch of conveniently placed hollow reeds.
Can I pick them up?
Well, if they are conveniently placed.
Yeah. Nice. Can I get more? Alright, what do I got? Alright, that's not light up anymore. What's this?
Of all the places for a quicksand pit.
What do you mean? What's this? What? Oh, it's just all quicksand. Okay. Branch.
It's a branch resting precariously on that tree root.
Okay, let's see if I can pick it up.
I can't reach it.
But I can use something to reach it. Let's see. What if I hollow reed, thorn, reservation slip? That's not going to help me. Bam, 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 bam. Hollow reed and a thorn. Did I use the hollow reed? Can I pick it up? And
Neat. A world-class pea shooter.
pea shooter. So I'm gonna use the pea. Do I have anything? Do I have peas? Do I need to get peas?
No, you made the pea shooter.
I know, but do I
Without
need to
peas.
shoot it with something, right? I need to. Will
No,
it have?
that's what the reed is for.
Okay. So I can use
The
it.
reed is shooting the thorn.
Oh, okay. So why don't I shoot the chicken? No, I'm not gonna give it to her. Use pea shooter with quicksand? No. Use pea shooter with life-saving vine. Let's try that.
Shooting the vine won't do any good.
Okay, but I have to do something with the vine. Let me use it. I'm gonna use it with what else? What's this? That's the vine. Feels like I have to use something. I'm not gonna give it to her.
I don't think she'd like that.
I don't think that either. Is this the... Do I need to do something else, Daniel, or I just need to find the right thing with this pea shooter?
You have something in your inventory that you'll have to use to progress.
Okay, it's not that. Oh, probably the helium balloons. I don't know.
I can't move anywhere in this
Maybe-
quicksand. I can't move
you're on the
anywhere in
right
this
track.
quicksand.
Maybe you should use the balloons with something else in your inventory.
Well, I can use with the pin, but that just pops the balloons. I know that seems like that's
Yeah.
the thing to do, but I don't know why I would do that right now. That doesn't seem right. The ember, that's also going to pop the balloons. The hand, the skeleton arm.
I can't use a balloon with that.
Yeah. Paste. Paperweight. Paperweight? Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna use the pea shooter. I think. Can I move? Floating balloon.
I can't
What's
move
the
anywhere
one
in this
object you?
quicksand.
What's the one object you need in this entire location?
I need this thing. I need the life-saving vine. Right?
Okay, so maybe use the contraption you just built
Yeah.
to get said vine.
Bam, 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 bam. All right.
If I pop it now, I'll never get out of this pit.
But if I do,
Shooting the vine won't do any good.
use pea shooter.
Well, you need to get that contraption closer to the vine itself.
This pea shooter needs to get closer to the vine itself.
No, the contraption you created with the...
This thing, my balloon and my
the paper.
paperweight. That
Can't
needs.
move anywhere in this quicksand.
So, how do I get it to move closer?
I can't move anywhere in this quicksand.
How do you move balloons?
It's just floating there.
You blow it. Are you?
Then blow it.
How do you blow something?
I can't move anywhere in this quicksand.
Okay.
Well, there are 3 verbs in this game. Use one of them.
There are 3 what? Verbs.
Verbs.
Pick up, examine, or blow. Wait a minute. That's supposed to be talking. That seems wrong. I didn't know that the
Perfect.
verbs would change.
For
It's
once
never.
today, things are going.
There's never been a verb to blow. It's only been talk.
Well, in Monkey Island 2, you did have your verbs changed once you started spitting, so...
How?
Well, darn.
Well, that didn't work. Oh, come on.
Hey.
Hey. Now what? Come on.
Thank goodness for those unpredictable Caribbean trade winds.
Okay, now I have... Now I can shoot this, and then this is going to plop down. It's going to hit the thing. It's going to knock... I got it. I got it.
You got it! Now that we're a moment from the actual solution of the puzzle.
Hey, I'll take anything. Boom. Well, that was fast. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to see him. I like this. I prefer this look. I think it's great. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. So Danger Bay, sharks, waterfall, boat, and a pirate ship. And is there anything else around here? Well, let's get in the boat.
It's a nice boat, except for that enormous gaping hole in the bottom.
Oh, we gotta fix the boat. Okay.
It makes the boat completely unseaworthy.
Gotcha. So what do we got? What else is here? Anything else around here? I can't go in the water because the sharks are gonna get me. So I gotta have something in my... I got paste. And I gotta paste something. Pirate literature. What's that? Reservation slip, encyclopedia. Oh, Jawbreaker? Maybe I have an idea. I'm gonna try to.
I can't paste that.
Can I? But I can. Maybe I can use the Jawbreaker to fill up the hole. Nah, don't do that. So let's try this. Can I use the Jawbreaker?
That doesn't need a jawbreaker.
All right, all right. Don't use that. Don't use that. Bag of nickels. Ember on a stick. Well, I'm not just gonna put paste. It's gotta be paste with something. I'm gonna try to do paste, and it's gonna say.
I can't paste that.
Yeah, all right. Ah, crud. Okay, I need to put something on the boat and then paste it.
Or you can keep exploring.
Or I can keep exploring. Really? Okay. There's no place to go this way. All right. Oh, let's do that. Is there no places to go? Ah, I don't want to do that. I want to go. Where was I? Where am I? I don't remember.
You're on the left over there.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll come back here. Get back here. Okay. There's stuff over here. There we go. Okay. Let's check out our waterfall.
It's wet.
Yeah. Fair enough.
It's wet.
Just waterfall. What else is there over here? Should I go this way? Can't go any farther. I don't know. You guys, this is...
Why don't you keep exploring other places?
But they brought me here. They brought me here.
Yeah, they brought you here, so you have a new location. You completed the puzzles associated with you getting to this location, but it doesn't mean that you have to stay around.
Seems like you should be able to do stuff. All right. I'm over here now. What else do we got? Oh gosh, you guys, it's like 2:30. I should get with it. I've got caught up. All right, let's do a few more minutes, and then we'll.
You want me to get the Wheel of Curtis?
Yeah, I got the Wheel of Curtis going. Swamp. Have we already been to the swamp? I don't think we have. Oh yeah, we've been to the swamp. What's up, dude? He's got the bubble gum. This is my guy's voice.
How long are you gonna keep doing that?
As long as it takes.
Must get pretty dull up there, I suppose.
Never! The powers of darkness are never dull. We will one day prove that... Oh, who am I trying to fool? I'm bored out of my skull. Figuratively speaking, of course.
Seem restless.
You seem restless.
Oh, I don't know. It's just that not many people come through this swamp.
What would you rather be doing?
I need to be out among the lesser people, terrifying them and causing pain and misery.
That would make you happy?
Yes, happy in a dark, demonic way.
I'd love to stay and chat, but I gotta go.
Gotta go. All right, I don't think I need to go in here again because I won in there. I mean, I guess you can always go back into these places. I don't really remember what was in there. What was this place? So there's that. Fort. You want me to try to find someplace I haven't been before, or just go back to some of the spots I've been to?
Some of the spots you've been to.
Okay. Should I have gone into that house again?
Well, there's one location in the... There's one location next to the pathway with the vines that you haven't explored yet.
pathway with the vines, where I just was earlier.
Next to the path with the vines that we've been through, the one with the Danger Cove sign. Next to it, there are certain locations that you haven't explored.
Wait, where I just was, like, oh, there we go, Danger Cove. Okay. That's...
No.
Oh, the one that over here.
Yep.
So Danger Cove. There's some more stuff around here that I haven't seen or looked at. Murray really reminds me of a Scottish mate I used to share a flat with.
I sent you the link to the Wheel of Curtis.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Wheel of Curtis.
Save the game.
Save the game. We'll do. Oops. Do. Oh, I don't know. Just CWC. Dominique. Okay, let's find the... Gotta open this up. Okay, so Wednesday, at this particular moment... Wait, what is today? Today's Wednesday. Friday.
Yeah.
I don't think that... I think it's probably going to be just continuing this game. Because...
Yeah.
Okay, let me do Wheel of Curtis. There we go. I haven't had a chance to talk to Tori, and every time you and Tori and I try to play a three-person thing, it just freezes everything up. So,
but this Friday would be the maiden voyage of your PC.
If we get it going, but I'll need. So I'm really having trouble with, not surprisingly, everything. Getting OBS up, it's not really, it's not recognizing the game. It's not recognizing the chroma key for the background. There's a lot of stuff that's not smoothly coming into place at this moment. All right.
Let's switch to a Mac.
Okay, we got a nice, really small but very thoughtful and thankful group today. Thank you so much for getting us to our goal, you guys. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun talking to Dominic and playing the game afterwards. All right, let's get this thing rolling. Boom. Oh, come on. There we go. Zwex, right, said Brett. Oh, the Schottenjäger's looking like it's going to be him. This might be the first time the Schottenjäger's won. This is awesome. Boom. You did it. Nice work.
The Schottenjäger?
You did
I'll
it.
contact him.
Sounds good.
I have a bunch of new games.
Okay. Good time today, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. This will be available for people to watch later. And I guess, as Daniel said, we'll probably just have this by itself for people to watch, but then we'll extract either the interview or we'll extract the gameplay and make that its own thing. So people can find that as well. Meanwhile, have a great rest of your week. It's good to be back. Daniel, thanks for doing all the stuff while I was gone. Really appreciate it. Sounds like Phantas 2 went really well. Were you happy with the way it all went down?
Yeah, after Phantasmagoria 2, I did a speedrun of Monkey Island 2 and encountered a bug like I usually do. A game-breaking bug, so I was stuck in the last part.
Oh, bummer.
So that made my speedrun even slower than expected. But anyway, my goal is to beat the world record of Phantasmagoria 2, which is currently 15 minutes.
15. What did you do it in? 20 something?
29.
Okay, you got a ways to go. What do you think it is? What do you think? What's the next step? Just practice or what?
Well, I think that I'm going to do I thought about which games I want to speedrun, and I want to speedrun Phantasmagoria 1 because it's notoriously short.
Mm-hmm.
If you speedrun Phantasmagoria 1, you can finish it in 7 minutes
Whoa.
or so. That's the world record. So I think that every now and then, whenever you're not available or we have an opening in our schedule, I'm going to do a speedrun live stream in which I'm going to speedrun Phantasmagoria 1, Phantasmagoria 2, and Loom. And altogether should be a 1 hour live stream with
Daniel's gonna be the world record holder of all 4 of those games, or whatever, however many of those games were. That's great.
Three.
All 3. All right. Good to see you guys. Have a good one. We will catch you on Friday. All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye. It's good to be home.